Welcome to episode 48 of the Music Relish Show. My name is Mark. I'm here with Lou and Perry, and tonight we're going to be discussing the charlatan of rock, the Forrest Gump of rock, Al Kooper. We're going to have lots of random relish. We're going to have an old archive clip from an old show when we were on the phones back in the dark ages.
Oh, yeah.
There'll be a film clip, and we're going to have dog songs. You'll see what it's about when we get to it.
Oh, it sounds a little strange, but it'll be fun, right?
You got to stay at the end, guys. Now, everybody listening. How you doing tonight?
Doing good.
Doing fine. How about you, Mark?
I'm good.
Lou?
I'm good. It's night here, but it's morning somewhere else, so it's all good.
Mark's got the hosting duties tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, you're in trouble because I'm going to host like Jerry Garcia.
So that means everyone's in trouble.
Yeah, so we're going to start off the show. It's we've been talking for a while about discussing Al Kooper, and even though I didn't come up with enough I'm not happy with what I came up with, but it does if you don't know Al Kooper, he's definitely worked on something you've listened to, and he's shown up in a lot of areas of rock and roll. He is he knows a good opportunity when he sees it, which is good, and he's one of my influences with general sound on recordings. So just before we discuss him, I'd like to just do a couple little weird facts on him, kind of cool things.
Sure.
He was he started music very young. His first band, he was 14 years old, and he was a guitarist in a band called the Royal Teens in Brooklyn. That's where he was born.
Really?
Yeah. So he started young.
The Royal Teens, they were known for that song, Short Shorts.
You wear short shorts, we wear.
Yeah, but do you know who wrote that?
Yeah, one of those Four Seasons guys.
Bob Gaudio from Bergenfield, New Jersey.
Oh,
but yeah.
Interesting. That I didn't know that.
I've heard that song recently. It's pretty cheesy.
Yeah. So you're saying that Al Kooper was in that band?
He didn't play on the record, though.
No. Okay.
No, he didn't.
Okay. He ended up in the band later on.
Yeah. Maybe played on some recordings, but
as a 14-year-old, though, imagine
14.
Wow.
Yeah. What was I doing? I was 14.
Yeah. His first credited song came out in 1959, where he actually had his name on the 45. So he goes back to the 50s.
Wow.
I like this little fact on him. In 1960, he teamed up with Bob Brass and Irwin Levine, who wrote Tie a Yellow Ribbon, to write and record demos for Sea Lark Music. And one of the songs they wrote was This Diamond Ring, was recorded by Gary Lewis and the Playboys, which I'm sure Lou knows all about that song, right?
Number
I think
one.
we brought it up one previously.
Yeah, it's
Al Kooper was one of the writers of that song?
Yeah.
It was the guy Irwin, who was Irwin Levine?
Irwin Levine, he wrote Tie a Yellow Ribbon around the old oak tree.
Well, he should not be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for that alone.
Watch, he will be.
Make a documentary.
You know what? Let's do a documentary about him.
We saw, Gary Lewis and the Playboys. They had a lot of hits, and if you listen, the instrumentation.
What was another one other than that song?
Everybody loves a clown. She's just my style. Don't you know that she's just me? Wild, don't you know that?
I have heard that once or twice. Yep.
They had a string of hits, but that's a Wrecking Crew, of course.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah.
Now Al Kooper, at this point, now he's 15 years old.
No, he's probably he had to have been 18, 19. This is 1960. Yep. Yeah. But another song he wrote. Do you guys know "I Must Be Seeing Things" by Gene Pitney? That was a hit.
No, I've heard it. Yeah. I know
it.
what Gene Pitney sounds like, so
Yeah.
I may have heard it. Yep.
So the thing is, he was writing.
He was no
hits.
stranger.
Yeah. When he was 21, he moved to Greenwich Village, and he wanted to be a session guitarist, which led to him being invited to a famous recording session with Bob Dylan, and led to him playing Hammond organ on Like a Rolling Stone. Now, we all know that. Won't discuss that again, but it was kind of accidental, right? That he didn't.
Why not?
Yeah.
Well, this is what I like when Lou calls him the Forrest Gump of rock and roll.
Yeah.
Because you could hear Forrest Gump saying, on the park bench, he'd be, I don't know how to impersonate Forrest Gump, but he'd be like,
I can play the keyboard.
I was in a recording studio one time, and the producer turned his back, and I played on a Bob Dylan record.
Right.
And I hit a wrong note, and they said, "Run,
that's
Al,
a
run."
Gumpism for Al. You're right. He's the Forrest Gump of rock. Yep.
Well, even like the earlier stuff as a songwriter, he's as we go through his career, you'll find out, he's not a star. He's not as much as he want to be a front guy. He's not. He's just, but behind the scenes of so much. I mean,
yeah, and he put out a lot of solo stuff. He never stopped recording.
Yeah.
He went on to play organ for Dylan at the Newport Folk Festival. Was that the one where they were booed? So he was there.
He was. I think he was there with Mike Bloomfield, probably, right?
Probably Harvey Brooks on bass.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't the band. It wasn't Robbie there.
No.
66 it might have been, but not 64
that's right.
5. Yeah.
It was probably was it Bobby Gregg on drums maybe, but Harvey Brooks most likely on bass, I bet.
Okay. And it was at that session that he met Mike Bloomfield, who he developed a great relationship with.
Who played guitar on the session. Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. He's on that album. Yep. Is that Blonde on Blonde?
Mike Al Kooper's on Blonde on Blonde. Bloomfield might be
both.
on it.
He's on two of them. He's on Blonde on Blonde and
Highway 61 Revisited.
Highway 61, I think. Yep.
In 1965, he joined the Blues Project, but he quit them shortly before their gig at the Monterey Pop Festival. That's what makes him very unique. He just left the band. But rumor is, and bootlegs back it up, he played a solo set at the Monterey Pop Festival. So it's like, I'm leaving the band, but I'm going to play a solo set. I'd love to hear that. I don't know what he did. He didn't have too many songs at the time. Who knows,
I think he might have done an album with Mike Bloomfield. There was Lost. It came out like 69. It was like Lost tapes of something. It might be from Monterey. I looked at the discography. Okay. I saw something so maybe his set's on there.
No, you mentioned that it was a super session.
He did said it was a super session. Stills.
Yeah, it was later.
Like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, Mark, the Blues Project. Yeah. I used to get them mixed up with the who did Ride Captain Ride Party? Blues Image.
Yep.
So as a younger guy, reading about these bands, the Blues Project, Blues Image, the Blues Magoos, I used to get them all mixed up. So I didn't know what the Blues Project was until recently. So it was more of a blues, like a blues band, I think, or just where they were.
Yeah, it was it's funny how he had his foot in pop, but he's played blues. Yeah, he has a lot of blues stuff.
Yeah.
His next big thing, among other things, was he formed Blood, Sweat, and Tears, which I didn't know until you guys were talking about Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I didn't know he was involved with that band. So today
he's a founding member of Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Yep, and they recorded their debut album with him. And I listened, and I know a lot of those songs. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know that. Yeah,
it's what is it called? The child is the father to the man, or something like that.
Yeah. It's wow. It's kind of artsy. It's definitely not the later Blood, Sweat, and Tears, but it's still great.
But it sounds like like a Lord Nero title. And she ended up writing a big hit that they had with it, right?
Yeah.
Well, records recalled those kind of things back then.
Well, there was a song on that album that I think was kind of a hit. I Can't Quit Her. Didn't that make the radio and stuff?
Yeah, I remember hearing that on the radio.
Yeah, that was so. And you could hear his vocals all over the album. And he's not a proficient vocalist, but I like vocalists that are not that good. I like that they have to strain a little. It's appealing to me.
Right. But I think that's what kept him from being the front man that he maybe envisioned, or maybe the record company thought he would be.
Right. Well, the record company wanted the band to go in more popular direction, so he quit. He left them. So, you were going to say something? Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
I might have forgot.
Age. We all got it. He went in and did the super session with Mike Bloomfield and Stephen Stills in 68. In 69, he followed it up with the Kooper sessions with Shuggy Otis.
Mark, have you ever heard his version of Season of the Witch?
Yes.
And that's on the super session.
Yeah. That album I know inside and out. I had that when I was
really. I think
guitar.
I have.
So that came out.
I have heard other versions than the Donovan version. Okay. Yeah.
Well, his probably came out the same year.
So the other version I've heard is probably the super session.
Yeah.
Wow.
That picture of Bloomfield is ahead of its time. Like, it looks like an early 70s cock rock band to me, right? He looks like a hard rock free or whatever, It's like he had a good image.
So there's three people there. So it's Mike Bloomfield. Is that Al Kooper bottom right?
Al Kooper is with the mustache. Steve
Stills is below Al Cooper, and then
shaded in blue and all
Bloomfield.
Yeah.
So Fast Eddie Ho is not on there.
Well, who had some? They had to have a drummer.
Oh, that was Fast Eddie Ho, yeah, but he was probably just credited as.
He was. They hired him to do the session. Yep.
No respect for the drummer. Never respect the drummer. No. He's just there to keep the beat, you know.
Just get a machine. Get a machine.
Yeah, and it was a very influential album. And I think, if I'm right, that introduced Mike Bloomfield to that made him, because all through the years, me growing up, when people talk about Mike Bloomfield, it was Super Session. Like, I think that album cemented his legendary status and guitar playing.
And I thought it came out in the 70s, but that was 68.
Yeah, 68.
Yeah.
So a year later, he did a second one called
one of my older siblings had that record. So I remember seeing it.
Everyone's older sibling. My sister had one.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Perry had
got
one.
the original.
No,
he gave it to me.
Didn't you have the Super Session record?
No, I don't think I ever had that record.
If you did, you gave it to one of us.
If I did, one of you would have it. Yep.
So he did a second session called Kooper Session with a guitar player. I'm sure you've heard of him, Shuggy Otis, who wrote Strawberry Letter 23.
Yeah.
Shuggy Otis. What is Strawberry Letter 23? Wait.
The Brothers Johnson.
Oh. That's the name of that song?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Number 5.
It was recorded by Shuggy, and then it was re-recorded by the Brothers Johnson. And
cool.
He also, by the way, Shuggy Otis played bass on probably one of the most famous Frank Zappa songs, Peaches and Regalia. So he's a versatile musician. Cool. He was good friends with Frank.
I've heard of him a lot. I just never knew what he did.
Yeah, it's a great name, Shuggy Otis.
Yeah. And I couldn't tell you how that Frank Zappa song goes either, by the way. I can't lie.
You've heard it on the radio.
No.
It's an instrumental, but it's actually, I don't know Frank Zappa, but I know 2 songs, Dancing Fool and Peaches and Regalia. That's what people say.
Mm-hmm.
I like that album. I listened to that today. I never heard it before, and it's a lot different than the Super Sessions. Really good. Moving on. 72. Oh, in that time period too, he became a staff producer for Columbia Records. Because the word is it was given to him after they felt he was ousted from Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I think that's really what happened.
I think it was a bit of a coup. In fact, I think he mentioned in his autobiography that he got thrown out of the band that he started.
Yeah.
But it's weird. But I think part of it was that record company didn't think his vocal was something that was going to get them above a respectable level of sales. I mean, it's not that he can't sing, but I think for what they wanted to be. I mean, David Clayton Thomas was an ex-vocalist and that's, if you look what happened.
Oh, yeah.
It does speak for itself. But like you mentioned about singers that aren't known for the greatest voices, if you have a delivery, I mean, like there's millions of them. John Prine, I mean, John Hyatt. A lot of people think a lot of people don't like their voices, but we do.
And it's funny. That's what I said before. So I always like the singers that aren't considered good vocals. There's some really bad ones, but like John Prine, right? It's like
Chris Christopherson.
When you introduce people to John Prine, a lot of them will say, "I can't stand his voice." I'm like, "What do you mean? I love his voice."
Right. Chris Christopherson, I can't latch on to. Great songwriter, great, but
Boston Flat and Baton Rouge.
Yeah,
I can't sing flat.
I've bought a bunch of his albums, CDs. I get 2 songs in, I have to shut it off. I can take them in doses.
Yeah,
it's like
he sings off key like David Lee Roth.
Yeah. And when he's
performing
too.
When David Lee Roth is performing for the retirement home jamboree party, what do they call that?
The song is in E and he's singing in B flat or something.
The hell?
B flat 9th. So anyway, when he was staff producer at Columbia, he signed the Zombies, who were kind of on the skids with their career, and they recorded The Odyssey and the Oracle with him as producer, and that gave him their biggest hit, Time of the Season.
Wow. So that was sort of a comeback for them.
Yeah.
So Al Kooper was somewhat responsible for their comeback.
Yep. This is the background Al Kooper. The
Forrest Gump, man.
Okay, he didn't produce that though, but he was instrumental in getting
them signed or getting him a deal.
I was asking, did he?
I read he produced it.
Really?
Yeah. I read he did, but I'll double check on that while you guys are talking. But I have it as produced. And then moving forward though, in '72, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
A great career to have, like that behind the scenes guy.
Yeah.
Did you see the Banana Splits reference?
I was going to say that was coming up. He did.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Banana Splits reference. We're in Bubblegum. He did Bubblegum.
I mean, apparently, he had something to do with a Banana Splits song.
He wrote a song called "You're the Loving Kind," and if you go on Pandora and look up Banana Splits, they got all their songs.
Oh, that was a Banana Splits song. You're the Loving Kind. Yep.
You're the Loving End. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's how he's behind the scenes. He also produced "New Morning" for Bob Dylan. He produced Appaloosa's
what year was
debut.
that? What year was that?
1970.
70.
Yeah. So that was the Columbia years. Appaloosa. I've heard of the band Appaloosa, and I listened to his podcast. He really liked Appaloosa. He says to this day he could still listen to their album. He listens to it like every couple months.
You listen to Al Kooper's podcast?
Yeah, he's got a podcast on Spotify, and it's all in 9-minute, 10-minute segments. Nothing is longer than 10 minutes. And he just talks about specific things. Some guy asked some questions. So he had a little memory of Robbie Robertson, and he talks about his days, like the bands he's produced. It's very interesting, but they come in short doses. He's very old now, and he talks a little slower. Yeah, okay. I mean, he sounds older than 79.
He is retired, but it's called Koopercast.
Koopercast, yeah. I was really impressed.
But he will go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, not posthumously. He will be there. Hopefully.
He says, unfortunately, he can't travel at all anymore, so he won't be able to travel there to go to it. So who knows, what's going on.
Interesting who's going to accept his award for him.
Bob Dylan. There you go. Anyway, 72. He started the Sounds of the South label, distributed to MCA, I believe. And he discovered a little old band called Leonard Skinner. He went on to produce their first 3 albums, and he performed on them as well. Now, all know that.
With this Leonard Skinner thing.
Yeah.
He was what? Their producer?
Yeah. He signed them to his label. Yeah. So financially, he benefited from their success. And then he produced.
Yeah, it said he was producer, engineer, played bass, played mellotron, backup harmony, mandolin, bass drum, organ. He played bass drum. He had a lot to do with that first Leonard Skinner album.
Yeah, yeah. He had a lot to do with the second album. That's my personal favorite. It's an excellent album, Second Helping. And then the third one, if I remember right from reading Leonard Skinner's story, they started to feel like they could direct themselves, and the album was kind of like there was friction, that bound to happen,
That was nothing fancy.
Yeah. Which doesn't have any hits on it, but it's a good album. It's a good basic hard rock album. I like it.
Atlanta back then too was a pretty wild town in the early 70s.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Lots of Camaros.
No doubt, and liquor. But Leonard Skinner were known as being brawlers. I mean, all those documentaries are just violent.
Yeah,
drunken violence.
Yeah,
interesting though. So rather than because they were from Jacksonville or somewhere around there, right?
Yeah.
The big city to them is Atlanta, as opposed to other people like we got to go to New York, or we're going to L.A., we're going to Chicago. Atlanta was their hub, right?
That was their hub, and it wasn't New York either. It was not New York. It was still it was still shit kicking.
And here's Al Kooper, a New Yorker down south, producing.
Yeah,
but same with Ed King, right? Ed King was a California guy. He was in the band, so
right. I think Kooper mentioned that in his book too, being a northerner, and he's Jewish too, being down in the rural South, at that point, where he might have encountered a little friction here and there,
Yeah, maybe. The other things he did in the 70s, I'll get back to some of the albums he appeared on, because I found a couple things I didn't know about. You guys will laugh at me, but he produced the debut album by the Tubes in 75. Yeah. He produced Cry Tough by Nils Logfriend. He produced Texas Tornado, Joe Ely, and I heard it once and I liked it.
Yeah, I know who he is. Yep.
Okay. He wrote the score in 1970 to the movie The Landlord, which was remade with Joe Pesci years later. It's about a slumlord that's forced to live in one of his properties. He wrote the score to that one. But in the 70s, after that, things slowed down. He got into soundtracks, and he was doing TV stuff, Crime Story, some shows. He would, again, but he's staying in the business, right? He's a busy guy. Yep. Where I get into knowing Al Kooper is 1994. He played 3 birthday shows at the Bottom Line in the city, and he recorded a CD for it called Soul of a Man. All 3 nights had different bands with an incredible cast of musicians. When I was working at CPI, he was signed to Music Master, which we did all their stuff. They were a jazz and classical label. So he put out the CD, which I'm holding up, Al Kooper, and it's compiled from the 3 nights. It's really neat to listen to. He got a lot of the Blood, Sweat, and Tear guys with one of the bands had the horn section. But there's a little technical note on this. It's 2-hour-long CDs. And the people at Musical Heritage who don't plan things right went and designed a cassette insert for 1 cassette. It should have been 2 cassettes because you guys remember cassettes. C90, C60, they worked fine. Yeah, Did you ever buy a C120 cassette? It was shit. The tape was so thin, it would wrap in your car player. Because of that, we had to put 1 hour on each side, a 2-hour cassette, and we had so many returns. It wasn't Al Kooper's fault. You had to keep the music low because you couldn't get the volume up. That's just my little thing. But this is what turned me on to Al. I didn't know about him until I heard this, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, cool.
So
I always thought it was Alice Cooper.
Me too.
I was like,
school's out.
His nickname or Al? Alice.
Yeah. He did something else kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys remember. He had the Rock Bottom Remainders. He was a member and a musical director. It was Dave Barry, remember him, Stephen King, Amy Tan, and Matt Groening. I heard they were pretty awful, but they weren't that good.
Really?
Pretty interesting, though.
Who was the drummer?
One of them had to have been the drum. Maybe this Amy Tan.
Isn't Stephen King a bass player?
He's a guitarist.
Guitarist,
I think. Yeah. And I heard people that saw him at the conventions, he wasn't that good. Yeah, big hands.
I saw a little thing, a little magazine article the other day of Stephen King at his house, and he has, of course, these iron gates, and there's like bats, wrought iron bats on them, and spider webs, and it's a creepy looking house.
Talk about a guy that's richer than rich. He's still putting out $4 or $5 a year. It's amazing.
Right.
Good for him.
Yeah. But anyway, that's he's slowed down, and like you see, he's going to get inducted. Thank God. And he's just living I met him at the Audio Engineering Society convention back around that before he put out that album. And I was reading his column in Mix magazine, which is what anyone in the studio read. And he had a great column on advice. So I just asked him a couple questions because in my time of mastering, it was add highs on everything. And he was against that. He said, you don't need to add highs. Just let it be natural. So I've told you my issues were for years, I expected to hear everything with crisp highs, and doesn't always have to be that way. And that was a great piece of advice he imparted to me. Just that little bit, when you add highs, you lose the ambience. If you add bass, you lose the ambience. Let it be the way it was recorded. Just watch the levels, and he was right.
And all analog recordings, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. And very nice guy. He would walk around that convention and talk to anybody, But now here's where, we can all talk about some of the sessions the guy did, right? I mean, I didn't know he played on You Can't Always Get What You Want.
Yeah.
Holy shit. He did the piano, the organ, and the French horn?
French horn, the whole intro.
Yep.
Oh my God. I mean, wow. He was on Electric Ladyland. He's on, I think, Rainy Day.
He played piano on Electric Ladyland.
Yep.
And he was on the Who Sell Out. I don't know what he played organ. I'm just not familiar what song. Yeah. Who's Next? He was on. Wow. I didn't know that. Who's next?
Is that him playing on Won't Get Fooled Again? Is that Pete?
I don't know. It just
says,
that
synthesizer is Pete. That's definitely Pete.
Okay.
That was an ARP, yeah.
Well,
you know what? Okay. This song is over. When that starts, you hear an organ in the background. I bet you.
Okay.
That's Who Sell Out, yeah.
There's also a piano on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, see, anything else there? Electric Ladyland. Yeah.
He played with the Atlanta Rhythm Section in 1973 on some album. That's like 5 years before their big hits. He played synth and the ARP. He's on Highway 61 and Blonde on Blonde by Dylan. We should tell the story of how he became, because what he did is that accidental keyboard way.
That's Forrest Gump.
Sound.
Yeah.
Well, it created a sound. It was a fluky sound, but
yeah.
He basically he said he could play keyboard, and what he did when he played on Like a Rolling Stone, he was watching Dylan's hands. And I said that if you listen to it, he's a little bit behind the beat because he'd see like the G chord go to the G. He was aping Dylan.
Right. But there's an audio tape of Tom Wilson coming in, go, "What are you doing there? You're a guitar player."
Tom Wilson. Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did someone make a disparaging comment about his playing on that?
It doesn't matter because Dylan loved it.
Yeah, but I think someone was it not Leanne Russell.
You mean one of the other musicians?
No, some of the keyboard players said, it's like it was crap or something. I don't know. To me, it was like it's not like Garth Hudson to me. So
we know you said if Dylan goes to a D, a split second later he goes to the D chord because he's watching what chords they're playing because he's a guitar player.
He's noodling around, those little fills, just being obvious he's a natural musician anyway. But he bullshit his way onto a session and created a sound. I think he said his intention wasn't to ever become a keyboard player, but
he was Forrest Gump, right?
He's Forrest
Gump. The producer went to answer a phone call, and
he just said, "I could do it." He's he's a musician's musician. But Mark, I didn't know about the French horn either until tonight. Mark's camera's flipping out.
Oh, that's on the in that Rollings. That's you can't always get. So that's Al Kooper playing that horn in the beginning, right?
Yep.
Mark did say he was having some power outage issues because of high winds up where he lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's you can't always get what you want. That's not Charlie Watts on drums.
It's Jimmy Miller. Yep.
I disagree with the assessment that Charlie couldn't catch the groove on that. I don't think so. I can do it. He can do it better.
See, I heard it differently. I heard it that when they were in France, just Charlie wasn't there. Charlie might have been in Paris while they were at the Nelcott estate or whatever.
Could be, okay.
Jimmy did it because Keith wanted to, it was 2:00 in the morning.
Want to get it done.
Jimmy happened to be there. Yeah.
Let's do this kind of thing. Yeah, because I didn't buy that story I heard where it said Charlie
not
wasn't
at all.
Brett. No, of course
Charlie can't do it. Charlie absolutely could have done it. Yep.
It's not that hard. It's really not that hard to do. Al Kooper. Yeah, so he produced the Tubes. I heard White Punks on Dope today.
That's the only song I really know by them.
I don't even like it. I'm like, okay. I mean, there were no. I think
Rudgren produced one of their records too.
That's right. Yeah. If they didn't have that Spectacle live show, I don't know if I'd ever have heard of them. I just, talk to you later, and I don't even like the sound of that either.
I don't know, and they were from Atlanta or something too, weren't
they? Might have been. I think they were.
Right? Not now. I don't know.
Yeah, but those first three Skinner records, though. I mean, Al Kooper produced the studio version of Freebird. That's Al
Kooper at the board.
At the board
for the studio version of Freebird.
Yeah. With
Mark,
the original drummer, Bob.
Can hear you fine now.
With Bob Burns on drums.
Yeah, the original
I wonder if Al had a say in that solo that was written out too. I'm sure he did.
He had a problem with. He wasn't a big fan of the drummer, of Bob Burns. He thought he was good, but he thought there was. And I think I agree. There's something missing in those first. Sweet Home Alabama. The drumming's great. Bob Burns was good. I'm not done it, but he was kind of stiff. And this is a weird critique. Like I find Ainsley Dunbar, as good as he is, kind of stiff. And I kind of like in their feels together, where just like Jimmy Iovine had a problem with Jimmy Iovine had a problem with Stan Lynch and with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I find that inexplicable, but I can understand why.
So
Al Kooper had a problem or an issue with Bob Burns as a drummer.
I feel it might have been too rigid or something.
Too rigid, exactly. Yeah. Perry. But if you notice when who's the other drummer? Artemis Pyle came on. It's a much looser. It's much looser. It's a little groovier. It's a little. Yep.
He has a great style. Great drumming style.
Great drumming style, Mark. He really does. Most people know the live version. I heard the live version of Freebird before the studio one.
Me too. Yeah.
And I like it better. You know?
Now was
Did
Burns?
you guys ever play Freebird? Ever play Freebird?
What song do you want to hear?
No.
Have you ever played Freebird with a jam, like in a garage band?
I played an acoustic version of the Battle of the Bands.
Okay. And there you go.
Yeah.
I've played it.
Um,
No, but I did play. I did play in a band with 2 other guitar players, and it was some other Lynyrd Skynyrd song with triple guitar threat.
give me 3 steps. Give me 3 steps of Mister.
No, I like that. That's a Rolling Stones style song. I like that song.
Let's do this. Let's do our confession. Hi, my name is Mark, and I played Freebird. Lou, you did too. So
Yeah.
Did let me ask you though? Did Bob Burns? Is it Bob Burns the original drummer?
Yeah.
Did he play on all 3 albums that Al Kooper produced, or did Artemis come in for Nothing
Good
Fancy?
point. Artemis might have come in with Nothing Fancy. Actually.
Okay, so Al might have been happy about that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Interesting.
In a weird way,
one way to rock.
In a weird way, he did so much. That was probably in my opinion, his biggest success story, because he discovered and signed a band that became legendary and had a direct. He got and he benefited.
That's another Forrest Gumpism. That's another Forrest Gump thing.
Yeah,
he discovered Lynyrd Skynyrd.
And he said he was like a fish out of water down there, but the guy, he had ears, like an A&R guy. Like said, that's what he did, like with the Banana Splits and the other band you mentioned, Mark, that he got them signed. Where he's probably sitting somewhere going, well, shit, who's got these guys? So
it's pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd.
I thought it was Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Yeah, I mean,
no, they're skin nerds. See, that's skin
Leonard.
Really, skin nerds.
Who's Lee
That's
Nerd?
a great name for a band.
I don't know her. Lee Nerd. Who is that?
We should do a Lynyrd Skynyrd cover band and call it Skin Nerd.
And they opened up for the Oneaters.
Like punk version. Yeah. I looked up. Artemis Pyle is on Nothing Fancy, so Bob Burns was on the first 2 records.
Okay. Yeah. He had the Sounds of the South record label set up before he discovered them, so he must have been saying, hearing, I want to go and get Southern, that must have been a rising thing, Southern bands, maybe because the Allman Brothers opened up that door, and he might have said, geez, that's an angle, because he was also a businessman in the record industry.
Yeah.
He's,
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He was very savvy. Some of his earlier stuff, in his autobiography, he was clever. I think he did some. I have to read the book, but he did some maneuvers here. And we did it. He maneuvered his way onto like a Rolling Stone. I mean, so the guy hit balls. He had a pair.
Yep.
But he was savvy, like you said. He was business savvy. He was ear savvy, and look at it. He was in 72. He signed Skynyrd. Was it 72?
Yeah,
73.
Yeah, 72.
Okay, so I remember 75. That was my introduction to Southern rock. That's when to me it exploded. 75.
Yeah, lasted a couple of years too. Yep.
Yeah, and the famous Molly Cribb Band.
Yes.
Never heard.
A local cover band.
Huh?
Yep.
There's a local band from New Jersey that did note by note renditions of Southern rock.
To the T, like you're listening to the record. Yeah.
Wow.
They did Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah, they had a fiddler. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Southern rock is tough to play. It's really hard to play. I don't have that shuffle sensibility. You've got to be rhythmic.
The boogie sensibility.
It's
and you got to know 3 guitar players,
2 drummers,
at least 3 guitar players.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Well, the Outlaws had 2 drummers too. That was another one where I wasn't a big enough.
That was a thing. I think the Allman Brothers kind of started that, right?
The Allman Brothers
drummers,
and I think they were the only band that utilized 2 drummers in a way like the Grateful Dead did. They utilized 2. Instead of having 2 drummers play the exact same thing, which is what 38 Special did, And
yeah. And the Doobie Brothers. I mean, there's 2 drummers in there, but you hear a lot of percussion.
Yeah.
So I think that was the idea. But
Al Kooper's still alive and well, though.
He's alive, yeah. Again, why he can't travel, I don't know. I wanted to say something about his solo albums. About a year ago, this is what I love about Spotify. One night I did a deep dive on his albums, solo albums. He reminds me of Todd Rundgren. He did things that he would take left turns with his albums. So whenever I think of Al Kooper, I also think of Todd Rundgren. They're both producers. They have a kind of a similar career path. And also they're very set in their ways. So not everything Al Kooper did worked. And Todd Rundgren also had some glorious failures in his career too, producing.
Because they make records for themselves, so I give them credit for that. Yeah, whether they sell or not, they do it for themselves.
And when they produce another band, they're like, "This is the way you're going to do it," and it doesn't always work, with everybody.
Yeah.
But I think that Al had the contacts in the business, and he's just very smart. And he also, like I said, he got involved with the technical side, so he was always doing things. As a mastering engineer, Al Kooper's doing this convention. He's doing this. You could go to his speech. He always stayed connected with the educational side, kind of like Alan Parsons did. Always stayed with that, teaching, molding young minds.
Right. He has an honorary doctorate in music from the Berklee College of Music too.
Oh, okay.
Al Kooper, really?
Yeah. He also played on George Harrison's "Somewhere in England" record. I don't know what. I think it was like 1981. So I don't know. George had any of his quirky hits.
Is that the one with "When We Was Fab" on it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 81. That would make sense. No, no, that was "When We Was Fab" was from Cloud 9. his dedication to John Lennon.
All those years ago.
All those
That's
years
what
ago.
I'm thinking of. Sorry.
Mark.
With the slow motion video of them waving. Yeah.
Maybe Kooper played on that song. Who knows? And he played on Roy Orbison's last record, "Mystery Girl."
Wow.
I guess his ego wasn't as such that, if you look at where he was, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, all these other back and forth, where he knew probably where it had just to go in there and just go with the flow of it,
Yeah.
Also, He also, another reason, he's a very sober guy. Like, he gave up drugs early and drink because he had chronic ulcers. So, by the time, the flower power stuff rolled around, he goes, I was done with it because I had to. He couldn't,
Really?
So, he wasn't a partying guy, which is maybe one reason why he stuck around so consistently.
Right. And he had his head on with the business side of things. Very, very smart guy.
Yeah, like I said, very smart guy. Yeah.
Just to follow up, it just lists him as keyboards and synthesizers on Somewhere in England. But Jim Keltner was the drummer on that album.
Yeah.
Wow. I just saw that.
Jim Keltner. Wow.
He was almost the fifth Beatle. I guess he was like Buster's side Beatle.
Carried a beat better than Pete Best, but we can't tell anybody about that because we'll get cut from YouTube.
Yeah.
So Al Kooper's going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a sideman or as a producer?
He's just being inducted. I don't know how. I hope they don't give him that stupid, shitty title like they did with Judas Priest, where, it's like he's the emissary to musical production. Now, just induct him. Give him a full induction.
Yeah.
I mean, he deserves it because he's recorded his own solo album, so he's as much a musician as he is a producer.
Yeah. In fact, we covered one of his albums because it had that strange cover where his girlfriend's head was on his body and it was reversed on the other cover or something.
And, something right? with Halloween coming up in about 10 days, we could have played a clip of Season of the Witch.
Yeah. Next week.
Next week,
only 7 days away.
We'll play 8 seconds of Season of the Witch.
No, really. And I'm sure the intro is about a minute and a half, and then it kicks in.
Hey, just something. Rock and roll has a lot of weird, spooky stories. We should touch on that next week for Halloween. There's a lot of good, weird stories.
Yeah, Halloween's next week.
It's 10 days, 10.
Friday's the 28th.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 20th. So I think the 30th, I think, is our next show. The eve of Halloween.
And in New Jersey, it's called Cabbage Night. The eve of Halloween, where people throw eggs at cars.
Cabbage Night. Yep. It wasn't Gate Night. Wasn't Goosey Night.
Cabbage.
Cabbage Night. Yeah. What was the other one?
Mischief. Some up here in Rockland, they call it Mischief Night.
Wait, yeah. In mid to South Jersey, it was Mischief Night.
Really? It seems so plain.
Yeah, it was. Well, it just seemed like it was kind of general,
Yeah.
It was Goose Night. It was Goose Night where I was from.
Really?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you know where that originated from?
No.
I don't
call it Goose Night.
You walked around goosing people. Yeah.
Bomb your neighbors with eggs night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was almost sanctioned. It was sanctioned minor vandalism. Is what it was.
It was, but at least we
relatively
were there for the
harmless.
halcyon days.
Yeah.
Now you can't go buy 4 dozen eggs at the supermarket anymore. They won't sell them to you.
and someone will come and blow your head off for egg in their house anyway. So.
I had
really.
I had one stellar cabbage night.
Looking for a reason.
I think I was in 8th grade. I was still in Zion, so no one knew me in Hillsdale, and I got eggs. My parents bought me this really nice winter jacket. It was so cool looking, and I put the eggs in my pocket, and I was gingerly walking around Hillsdale, and I was an asshole. I was throwing them at houses. Anyway, a bunch of high schoolers saw us when we were by a park in Hillsdale, and the Camaro comes up, and the fear of seeing a senior in a Camaro when you're in 8th grade is just, it's fight or flight. So we started running, and all those eggs just in my pockets. Got home, my parents, first of all, I took the eggs. We didn't have a lot of money, so my mom was freaking out. I took all the eggs. And then I ruined the jacket that my dad just had trouble paying for. I felt bad about it years later, but that was the only time I went out. Didn't end too good,
That was it.
But
Al Kooper is going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yep.
2023.
And
is it his first time? Is it first ballot? Is his first time? It's been mentioned, or
good question. I'm sure he's been mentioned before with his career. But you didn't hear like people saying, "When's he going to get in?" You didn't hear that so much.
Is it going to be one of those where like they show a film behind him of like the Forrest Gump of rock and roll, with Bob Dylan, with this and with that, right?
Shaking hands with
hopefully
Tom
they
Wilson.
do. Yeah. Hopefully it'll be on television. Who knows?
I am concerned.
Right?
Like I
Nixon
said,
will be there.
When they said that, the fan asked a question, "Are you going to do any more shows?" And he says, "Nope. I can't travel anymore." And like, it concerns me when he can't get in a car and drive to Cincinnati. Why? So, let's listen to every word the guy has to say.
Yeah, but you can't take that, as for just the way it is. I mean, this could be, he doesn't want to do it. Or
he would say that. He said,
I'm almost 80 years old.
He said, I cannot travel. I can't go too far. That's what he said. So,
I think if he could, he would.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he's on death's door either. But just
correct.
Some people can't get on airplanes because the pressure.
Yeah. I don't like airplanes.
Or just because there's really no good reason to get on an airplane.
I mean, I have a clip of Chuck Berry, from Hail Hail Rock and Roll. It was his 60th birthday.
Was there a salad bowl involved?
He lived another 33 years after that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and one more thing. This is on Spotify, The Soul of a Man. Highly advise it. He does a version of Sleepwalk, but he plays the slide guitar part on an ARP synthesizer. He also does Heartbeat by King Crimson, that great pop song, and he does his own version of it. So,
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Al Kooper.
Al Kooper.
Well, that was great.
Yeah.
That was a great little segment.
Yeah, we finally did it. Okay, so
45 minutes on Al Kooper? Come on, man, right? Let's do it. We did it.
I only have 14 minutes. I hope I show up after coming back.
We did it.
Yeah, we got some random relish there, Perry. You want to hit us slap us in the face with some relish?
Yeah, let me get some notes here. Let's see, random relish.
Okay, I'll talk about opera for a while. I saw a really good opera the other night.
No, I just wanted to wait for Lou to come back.
Well, I'll talk about opera with you. I saw a really good opera the other night. It was
where were you?
It was opera night at
Lincoln Center?
No, it was opera night at the Beacon Theater in New York City. It was awesome, man. It was just great.
You're joking.
Yeah, I am. Of course I am.
I'm kidding with you. You can't be kidding with me.
It was operetta night. That was even worse.
I have something for random relish about your guy, Steven Wilson. Right?
Uh-huh. My guy.
He has remixed a bunch of records. This is from psaudio.com. XTC Steven Wilson remasters on CDs and Blu-ray. There's about 5 or 6 XTC records that he was going to remix. He wants to do English Settlement, their absolute masterpiece.
You're the one that introduced me to that album.
But here's the catch. I started searching like mad for other available XTC titles, which at this point includes Black Sea, Drums and Wires, Skylarking, None Such, Oranges and Lemon. I was pretty distressed to find information on Steven Wilson's website where he referenced his remix work on the albums. His personal disappointment that the multi-track tapes for English Settlement have yet to be located. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And he says, I freaking love that album.
Mm.
That's a masterpiece, and they can't locate the tapes.
I would love to not just
What
hear
is Pisodio?
It's a It's a Genesis. It's a Genesis
Phil
song.
Collins song.
But it's they can't locate the multi-track tapes for English Settlement. Steven Wilson wants to remix that classic record. They can't find it. Hopefully it wasn't lost in a fire. Hopefully it's in a salt mine somewhere.
Let it be noted, by the way, that for Andy Partridge to trust Steven to do all this, because Andy Partridge controls everything. And he let Steven do his stuff. Like, he said, remix it. He wasn't overlooking his shoulder or anything. So that's a big level of trust there from Andy Partridge. I hope they find this, because that album, what hits me with the sound of it, it would be a great 5.1 on a Blu-ray. I would just,
Absolutely. Yeah. And Hugh Padgham production.
It's got to be.
And they can't locate the master tapes for English Settlement.
They'll find it.
Wow.
It took Tony Iommi.
I have them.
Yeah.
You have them? Well, it's probably Sony. They were on Virgin, so Sony may own whatever Virgin was now, and so hopefully it's in a vault somewhere and they locate it, because Steven Wilson, I would love to hear that record remixed by him.
Yeah.
Born Again by Black Sabbath was recorded in 1984. It took all these years. Tony Iommi finally, like 2 years ago, found the originals to remix it. It's also like if they licensed it to another label, it could be with another label. It's probably there, but we hope. And we hope they find it before 10 years passes by,
Really, yeah.
Hey, can I say something? Speaking of remixes, it's not a remix, but I told you guys text that I waited my whole life for a 5.1 release of Dark Side of the Moon, and it did not disappoint. And it also has a Dolby Atmos mix, so I'm on my way to getting a Dolby Atmos system, and I want to hear that. This is incredible.
Is that the Roger Waters one?
No,
or is
it's
that
Pink Floyd.
The whole
Pink
band.
Floyd. It's the original.
Oh, okay.
And
that Roger Waters stuff is weird.
It's if someone says to me I hate it, I don't argue with them. I love it, but I can understand if someone
interesting.
It's like he's at a bar late at night, and he's just half drunk. That's what his concert was like when I saw him. He kind of did a lot of that stuff, low key versions of songs. That's where his head is at. It's Leonard Cohen playing Dark Side of the Moon.
Right. He's all. How old is he now? 73, 70.
Yeah, 73, 74. New wife.
Yeah.
She's only been married for a couple of years, so that keeps a man young.
So you know what a Gibson J200 is, right? Big jumbo, beautiful.
Always wanted one.
Jumbo Gibson guitar. They cost about $5,500. This is what happens to them when somebody gets too much money. Look at this.
Oh, no.
Look at this jerk.
No.
Look at that thing. It's beautiful.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's Pete Townsend. He's always has to be the...
Fuck you. I'll take that guitar.
The forever punk. Watch this. No. Look at this. Look at that. And watch him bask in the glory. And he caught so much shit for this. This is when he put out a comment, they're my fucking guitars. I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
So why doesn't he give it to a young guitar player that can't afford a guitar?
Give it to, yeah.
I know, he's a punk. I know, I get it, but come on.
Yeah, he was a 65-year-old punk at that point where he's smashing up a Gibson J200.
A $5,500 guitar. I mean, it's one of you smashed up your old Dan Electro you bought in 1952, the thing that has a bowed neck or whatever. Yeah. So that was in the 80s. I was wondering who was that? Was that Will Lee?
No, that was
David Letterman.
David Letterman. That was the 2000s, I think.
What's that? That was the 2000s.
I think that was
really?
The 2000. Where, when did Letterman go off the air?
I don't know.
He looked
10 years ago.
It looked like it could be. He was older in that clip. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just the price. It's the craftsmanship that went into that guitar. Handmade.
It's the fact that not everyone can afford that guitar, or if you can afford that guitar, you might have to make a lot of sacrifices you shouldn't really have to make.
Yeah.
And now someone smashes so cavalierly,
I've never even
heard about this.
That's not Paul Simonon, on the cover of the Clash record.
Correct.
Either.
Right.
Here's this rich, well-off, comfortable
Who smashed
bougie rock star.
Rickenbackers and Les Pauls and Stratocasters and just smash anything, for the sake of art. Kenny Aronoff wrote a book, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago. It's called Sex, Drums, Rock and Roll. And apparently has some great stories in there.
Yeah.
He tells a story about how Van Halen, that not everybody knew this, that when Eddie and Alex were working on a song, they would work on it by themselves for weeks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody
so
involved.
that Alex knew every little nuance, like I can hit an extra China cymbal here.
Mm-hmm.
Every split second they knew, because those two brothers worked together for weeks before they even brought it to anyone else.
Right.
Which I thought was interesting.
And
I think that's the way it had always been.
Right. And
Alex doesn't. Alex is unsung in that band. Everyone's unsung in that band except for David Lee Roth and Eddie. I mean, Michael Anthony a little more so, but Alex is the least recognized member of that band.
Yeah.
And who's in control of all the publishing now and everything too?
Because someone asked Wolfie something like, "Is stuff going to be released?" Because 5150 is full of tapes. He's like, "It's Alex. He'll have to sift through it. I don't have much of a say." What's interesting too is
ask my Uncle Alex.
I always heard that Alex's monitor only had Eddie, and Eddie's monitors only had Alex. They didn't have Michael or David in their monitors because they were twins. They were twins.
Yeah,
those two.
Right. That's pretty interesting. They didn't need to hear the bass that much. I mean, but still,
Alex was playing to Eddie, not to Michael, which is kind of strange, right?
And Kenny Aronoff also says that John Five, the guitar player.
Yeah.
Who?
John Five. Johnny Five.
Yeah.
I don't know his real name. When he goes on a plane, he gets a seat for his guitar next to him because he won't put it in, luggage and.
There's a famous story from Steve Howe, because Steve Howe used to put a lot of musicians, I understand, would just put their guitars in luggage. He went to South America in the early 70s, and he had a Martin that was worth several $1,000s back then, and he saw it get dropped from a crane. Boom! Yeah. And ever since then, he spent the extra money to put his guitar in the seat next to him, too.
Mm-hmm.
But Chuck Berry said in Hail, Hail, Rock and Roll, I just put my guitar in the luggage, and you see him picking it up at the,
But the briefcase with the $10,000 cash was with Chuck.
Yeah.
Also, I think that airplane knows Chuck Berry's fucking guitars in there too. I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't be like he's not some schmuck over there.
Yeah.
But it's like it's.
That's right.
Now, I'm currently reading
some
the book.
Insurance.
I'm currently reading this book, Chairman of the Board.
That's not
Bill
Sinatra.
Schnee. Bill Schnee. He recorded the soundtrack. He's a studio engineer, of course, some sometime producer, but he's an engineer. This guy with Steely Dan, and he tells the story. He was engineering for Ricky Lee Jones way back, and Jeff Porcaro was the drummer on the session. I don't know when this was. Let's say, mid-70s.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds about right?
Yeah.
About right?
Yeah, because Porcaro was doing a lot of sessions back then.
And this is Bill Schnee telling the story now from his book. He said Ricky Lee Jones would just call out and say, "Drummer, I don't like what you're playing. Play something else."
Ooh.
And apparently Bill Schnee says Jeff Porcaro did not have a big ego, so it took a lot to push him. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, "Drummer, I don't like what you're playing. Play something else." And
drummer.
Then he'd play something else, and she'd be like,
drummer.
and she'd call him drummer, and that was the disrespect that Bill Schnee pointed out because she didn't even know his name. She didn't even bother to learn his name. So she said, "Drummer, play a different fill. Play a fill like this. Try it like this. Drummer, play it like this." And then she's saying this, "Drummer, play it harder, play it harder, play it harder." And I guess Jeff Porcaro had enough at this point, so he grabs his sticks and starts stabbing his drums. This is Bill Schnee. This is Bill Schnee. He's stabbing him like this, and he stabbed it into the snare drum and just walked out.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Boy, she was a diva.
I got called drummer once.
Really?
Nashville. Oh, yeah.
Is the guy still alive?
As a girl.
Oh.
As a woman. Yeah.
And really?
Drummer, yeah. I was like, you didn't do it. Come on. Come on. If it was a guy, it wouldn't be alive, Mark.
Yeah. But Jeff Porcaro walked
stick into
out.
your brain. What's that?
Jeff Porcaro walked out.
He
stabbed his drums. He was stabbing the drums because she's telling him, play harder, play harder, play harder.
And then she dropped the N-word twice in Chucky's in Love.
Did she really?
Oh, yeah. She says it twice.
I haven't heard that
kidding,
song.
right?
Her biggest
years.
hit. Her biggest hit.
I haven't heard that song.
You know
in
what
years.
I saw today?
Yeah.
It
comes in work once in a while, and that word doesn't get bleeped out.
Huh.
So whenever it does come on, I'm like, I said, we may not want to play this Spotify or whatever the vessel is. Their set list. Yeah, but they I mean, it's one thing about no censorship. That's the thing too. But I think there's 1976 and there's 2023.
Also, if you're a business,
even Lou Reed had to change his that silly song "Walking the Wild Side." He had to change to
and
change a little bit there.
I don't care who the greatest people are that played on it.
It's one thing to play it at home, but if you have a store, you might want to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hate that song, "Walk on the Wild Side."
I think they should censor when he goes do 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 do.
Yeah, really.
So I'm one of those people at Lou Reed, the Velvet Underground. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I like this song. I like that song, but I'm not going to buy the Banana album just because I like two songs or something.
And I thought I was not a real.
Say that I owned the Banana album.
And I used to think I was not a good music fan because I never got into Velvet Underground. Then when I heard you guys say that, I'm like, okay, it's okay. I don't like it. I can admit it.
No, it's real. Because there's so many bands that I've loved. They're like, we're not worthy. We're not worthy. I'm like, what am I not getting?
Yeah.
Scott McLean, same thing. He's like, hey,
right.
Yeah.
REM, on the other hand, how many REM members does it take to screw in a light bulb?
How many?
How many?
It takes 4 to screw in the light bulb and 1 to play put the Velvet Underground record on the turntable. All right, moving along.
So we spoke about a little bit about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Who was there on the committee?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Mark, you want to take that?
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Foundation was established in 1983 by Ahmet Ertegun, who assembled a team that included publisher of Rolling Stone magazine Jan S. Wenner, or Jan Wiener, record executives Seymour Stein, Bob Krasnow, and Noreen Woods, and attorneys Alan Grubman and Susan Evans. So Jimmy Iovine was not there in the beginning. Interesting.
Alan Grubman, the lawyer, was... They induct lawyers now into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This guy, Alan Grubman, was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame like a year or two ago.
Was he the guy connected with Woodstock with Michael Lang? Yeah. Big power.
No, he was somebody, I forget whose lawyer he was, but now lawyers are going to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I guess they need lawyers. They must have needed lawyers on the original team because of the legalities involved, but
yeah,
it's kind of funny. I've heard Ahmet Ertegun and Jan Wenner. I've heard of everyone else. Except for Alan Grubman, we mentioned.
Well, Seymour Stein. I mean, Seymour Stein, record executive.
Yeah,
right?
What label?
Island, was it Island Records or no? It was the one that the Replacements and the Ramones were on.
SST, not SST.
No. No. It was
Virgin.
No. Mark, what record? Seymour Stein. What record company? What record label did he have? Seymour Stein.
Hold on. Seymour Butts.
Yep.
Sire.
It was Sire Records. Yeah.
Okay.
Sire had a lot of the big bands on there. So there were like how many? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Pretenders. Weren't the Pretenders on Sire? I think they were.
1, 2, 3,
7.
4, 5, 6 guys and 1 woman.
Yeah.
2, Noreen and Susan.
Oh yeah, Noreen. Okay. Yep.
He didn't.
It's like the Barbie movie.
He didn't do the Woodstock thing, but his biggest client is Bruce Springsteen. He's also been
Seymour Stein.
No, Alan Grubman. Some of his other customers: Madonna, U2, John Mellencamp, Rod Stewart, Sean Puffy Combs, Luther Vandross, Elton John, Jennifer Lopez, Mariah Carey, and Andrew Lloyd Webber, who stole all of Roger Waters' stuff. Man, he is a power. Yeah, that's a power broker.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, so
now is there a conflict of interest in here? Like, as far the whole voting thing is
the whole organization is a conflict,
it's
right?
So soupy. Yeah, it's very soupy.
Yeah. Yep.
The fans get 1%, 1 point, for voting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where's Tom Hanks in this too? He's pulling the strings.
Well, you know what I think that they said?
Old Forrest Gump himself.
He's the
So Tom
puppet
Hanks
master,
must have
right?
got in Al Cooper in then.
They're worried that if the fans had too much of a say, they would have put in bands like maybe Black Flag would be inducted, and they had done nothing for the music industry. We can't have them in because they owe favors, and there's a little of that going on in the background,
Yeah.
who made us money. So
maybe they should create other cooler categories. Like bands like I've been reading about Black Flag, Blue Cheer, MC5. You've been reading about these guys all along, and somewhere along the line, I mean, who's the other guy? Nick Cave.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of people that are. Has he ever been nominated? But there's a whole lot of people that, if they were in a cool category, like there's all those psychedelic bands, you still hear the Electric Prunes.
But
you'll be hearing the Electric.
Black Flag should be in only because Henry Rollins is still relevant. I mean, they should be in, you know.
And they were hugely influential. I mean,
yeah.
But speaking of that, Lou, who's in this band? You said there should be a band of all the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame snubs.
The
group's
Snubs.
called the Snubs. So Jerry Beckley and Dewey Vanell are going to be in the Snubs, right?
Yes. Dan Peake will be posthumously inducted into the Snubs. Unless the people who like Ian Anderson. I mean, is Jethro Tull's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Nah, they're Prague.
They're Prague. I mean, is ELP in?
No, I don't think so. The only Prague band, big one, yes.
Seriously?
Yeah, yes.
Who did? Yes.
After Chris Squire died, which is what's a shame.
Okay, right.
If ELP were to get in, you'd only have Carl Palmer
there. There's so much bullshit.
Yeah,
there's so much bullshit going on.
So the Snubs are getting together.
So Carl Palmer will be the drummer in the Snubs. He's the only one left in ELP side.
The guitar players will be piano would be Jerry Beckley, right? Acoustic rhythm guitar,
Dewey Vanell. Ian Anderson on flute and vocals.
Yes,
with one foot on his knee.
Yes. And that's the Snubs.
The Snubs.
Now, I have a little clip here. Let's just speaking of the hail rock and roll. Keith Richards annoying 60-year-old Keith Richards or 60-year-old Chuck Berry annoying everyone.
Chuck was 60. I mean, I'm older than Chuck now.
There it goes. Yep.
I hate that part.
You want to get it right.
I hate that part.
There's Chuck Leavell. That's Chuck Leavell, isn't it?
That's Chuck Leavell.
On the keyboard. I think it's
not
Chuck Leavell.
That's Jimmy Johnson. Oh, in the background.
That's Johnny Johnson. Yeah, right.
But
and
Jimmy Johnson. Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson's on the piano, but I think that's Chuck Leavell on the organ.
It is.
Isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's Al Cooper.
There it is, the Forrest Gump of. It might be. Maybe.
No, that's definitely Chuck Leavell.
Wouldn't that be so cool?
This kills me.
Steve Jordan. He's a Stone.
Yeah.
This guy just pisses everybody off. Look, Keith, I screwed it up. Now, I don't know what Keith tells him. Watch what he tells Keith. He goes over to Keith and says, stop or don't stop or something.
Keith keeps playing. He doesn't want to stop anymore.
Now something. See, it says, like, don't stop, I think he said.
So what the issue is, because it's hard to hear, Lou, is that you do the and then Chuck Berry goes, but then Richards is going, so he's bending up and down, whereas Chuck Berry starts it with the string bent up. That's his whole concern. He wants Keith to play it his way.
Yeah.
Let Keith play. I can't. That really pissed me off, that scene.
What a band. I don't know who the bass player was, though. The bass player was playing
Al Cooper.
A Dan Electro.
I'll find out. Hold on.
It was a Dan Electro Longhorn bass he was playing.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
John Entwistle.
No. It was
the Ox.
I don't know who it was. It was just one of those guys. I mean, Steve Jordan was there, right?
What year was this? When that movie
Chuck
came out?
Leavell, I think that was Chuck Leavell. He's the musical director of the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Now, yep. That was whenever Chuck Berry was 60. That was his 60th birthday.
Was it early 2000s? Was that the 90s?
No, that was probably like in the 1990s, I think. Yeah. Yep. And so I have
I got my disc here, my Hail Hail Rock and Roll. I don't know if it has people on it. I want to see. Nah, it doesn't list the musicians.
What was the year?
1987.
Yeah, when was that?
1987.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Chuck Berry was 60 in
80s.
1987.
Were there any salad bowls on stage?
What does that mean?
It can't be good.
Chuck was.
Do you want to explain that?
He was a little kinky with the salad bowls. Like the Danny Thomas served the glass top tables and certain young ladies, and
ouch.
Yeah.
Also, I'm sure in the theater there were cameras in the bathrooms and the ladies' rooms too, because that's at his club.
I'm sure there was, because that was Chuck's thing also.
Yeah. So I have one more clip. Can I show one more clip?
Yeah.
I don't know who. Well, let's just find out who this is. I don't even know what song that is. It's probably we have to talk, so it's not copyrighted. Now, who is that, Lou?
That is my son, Louis Theodore Colicchio III, playing percussion. He's not a snare player with his marching band.
Is he reading music?
Yes, he is.
He's reading music.
Yes, he is.
Wow.
I don't know how he does it. You can recognize the song.
What song is that?
I forgot. It's a classic.
It's an opera song.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's all public domain, classic stuff.
It's an opera.
Yeah.
Heavy metal of its day.
Look at his hands. He's playing with the jazz group.
Yeah. And his nickname is what? Stretch Colicchio.
Sticks
He's like 6 feet tall already, the kid.
He's bigger. He's almost 5'11" now.
Listen, he's playing with the cocksure attitude of a Colicchio. He does. He's definitely got confidence in the way he's playing. I like that.
Oh, thanks. My old girlfriend said he has vampire energy. Whatever that means. But during the course of that concert, he's going across the back of the stage, playing the various percussion instruments. He's not big on like the glockenspiel. That's not his favorite thing. But anything. But during that concert, it was funny because he was playing a floor tom tom, and it was starting to fall down. So the girl next to him would play with one hand. She lifted the tom tom up. It was like this teamwork was amazing because it wasn't musical. It was just watching someone, your fellow band members back. But she got it. She saw it tipping, and I saw it. I'm like, I can't run up there in time because I've done that for him when I was sitting in the gymnasium where one of his glockenspiel stand was falling down. He was trying to read the music, so I got to go out there low and slow, and lift this thing up for him while he finished the song. Well, thanks, Perry.
Yeah, that was Lou Jr., right?
No, he's Lou the Third. I'm Lou Jr.
He's the Luther. Wow. I have. Go ahead.
He reads music. I don't.
Yeah, I find that incredible too. That he can actually read that.
Maybe I should have listened to school when they were trying to teach me. I should have listened.
Mark, I told him. I said, I remember like when I was in high school, like to be in a marching band, you're supposed to be on the football team.
Yeah.
It was like to be kind of. It was really dorky back then, but it was kind of cool. But we're now, as time has gone on, to be nerdy and dorky is cool. Like marching band is almost cooler than being in the
the
football team, because the football team that they're the marching band for, they never win. They're the Bad News Bears. I'm sorry.
Kenny Aronoff said that.
I've never seen them win a game.
Kenny Aronoff said that when he has to fill in for a drummer who can't make it or something, he said he writes out all the drum parts.
Well,
he writes them out so that he knows exactly what needs to be done.
He's also trained.
So he hears it and writes them out.
Lou was at a drum competition yesterday, and his percussion section got number 1.
Hey.
Wow! All right.
Yeah,
do we have any? There we go.
Go, Louis.
Louis Colicchio III. Right. I have a picture.
You were mentioning Kenny Aronoff. He fills in on one of the XM channels. Is it the Beatle one?
Maybe.
I don't know.
It's not Underground Garage, that's for sure. I think it is the Beatle channel.
But he talks about some of those sessions where he's gone in, and he's like, I'm going to get fired if I don't do this. Jack and Diane, he mentioned that because,
Yeah.
That was a song where Mellencamp is like, you've got to be kidding me. This is not a hit. It's a weird song. Kind of a weird song. The arrangement is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But Aronoff went in going, and Petty's giving him orders as he's playing, and he's like, I can't fuck this up. He goes, it's my job. I'm going to lose my, so he was under this immense pressure. But just like the specifics of what Petty was telling him, like, how to hit a cymbal, you think about it as a drummer, it's like, you're feeling it. It's not, it's so physical to pull back sometimes. You don't know when you're pulling back or not.
Yeah.
But he was on hooks, during the recording of that song, but that iconic drum break he did.
Yeah. Now, was that the start of his career, Jack and Diane? Like, was he a young drummer, or was he already?
It might have been. I think he was on the record prior to that. Or something.
He was, but he wasn't allowed to play initially. He got hired. Yeah. But I think on was Mellencamp's other hit? I Ain't Even Done with the Night. I don't know if that's Aronoff on drums.
Okay, but Aronoff got his start with John, I guess.
Oh, he did. Yeah. But he's also. I mean, I don't know if he's Juilliard trained. He's trained. I mean, he went to school.
He's busy, and he says, one of his things was like, to work with, and he's worked with the Beatles. He worked with whatever Beatles are left. He was there for.
But he also has the marching band background too.
Okay.
So did Stan Lynch. That's why Stan Lynch always played with the traditional grip on the drums.
And of course, he has his place in, I guess it's in L.A. somewhere, where he's got his drum place, and he can record there too. You can hire Kenny to play drums for your record,
right?
For a hefty fee, of course.
Yeah. Just like Al Kooper has a keyboard room somewhere.
Right. Yep.
I forgot the studio, but he's got a keyboard room.
Yeah.
You want that Al Kooper sound? You're gonna pay for it.
Cost,
yeah.
By the way, just so you know,
who's this guy? Look at this. Who's this guy?
It's Mark.
It's a scared kid in school.
It's little Mark Smith.
That's Mark Smith. Yeah,
he's got a
Mark Smith. What a cute kid.
You were cute. Scared shitless because
you look like the kid from Witness in the Harrison Ford movie.
I didn't go to
Amish kid.
I didn't go to preschool, so I was like sitting home with mom, going to school. Yeah, right. I was so scared, man. Oh,
damn. Now check this shit out.
I didn't pee my pants. I did not pee my pants. I will say that.
That's good.
So.
Ever see when, like, in these movies where, like, you're looking through, like, Halloween, and it's all these creepy movies, and you're looking through binoculars, and like somebody else is check this shit out through binoculars. Look at this fucking guy. Imagine that you're looking through binoculars, and this is what you see looking back at you. How scary is that, man? I'd be like, what the fuck? Get me out of here, man.
It's Herman Munster.
He looks familiar.
What the heck is that?
Dude, you got to do horror movies. You would be good.
I'm watching you.
That's creepy, isn't it?
Watching you.
You're moving it around, Perry.
I'm watching you watching me.
This is why people who listen to our show have to see the Spotify or YouTube, because we have visuals. I don't know. I still don't know how I got those effects on my phone. I don't know how I
and you'll never get it again, right? You do it once.
No, it's gone.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah,
that was creepy, man.
It was totally creepy.
All right. You got any more random, Perry?
No. Oh, one other thing. I saw a clip today of Rick Nelson in 1969 playing at the Troubadour. In 1969, Randy Meisner was his bass player and singing along with him on
in the Stone Canyon Band.
It was really good,
right? Yeah.
Really good. Rick Nelson was singing it was like live. Originally it was a documentary, but somebody redid it now to make it like a live feel thing, and it was really good. Randy Meisner sounded fantastic singing along with Rick Nelson.
I've been hearing a lot of Rick Nelson on the 50s channel. In Pulp Fiction, a lot of his songs are featured. When they're at the Jack Rabbit Slims.
Yeah.
There's actually one of the performers is Rick Nelson, but
yeah.
But it was in 1969. It was country rock.
Lonely Town, a couple other ones, but
everyone notices the what's his name? I want to say Gary Busey.
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah,
Steve Buscemi.
Well, the guy that impersonates Buddy Holly. That's what everyone remembers. They don't remember.
Buddy had a pedal steel player. So this was 1969. They were doing country rock before the Eagles even got together.
Yeah.
That was right? He was in there briefly though, Randy Meisner. So was that? Wait, so
it was 1969.
So that was right before I think he just left. Maybe that was right before he left Poco. I think.
Wow, that early he left Poco.
Yeah. Well, he did the same thing Al Kooper did. He left Poco before the first album came out. That's so weird.
So you could say he was in Poco, but he's
yeah. He never toured with Poco, but he did. Poco did a reunion tour a while back, but Randy Meisner was there.
Okay, yeah, because Timothy's with the Eagles, so
yeah,
that ain't gonna happen.
He doesn't have to do that.
Oh, Lou, I got to thinking about
Eagles longer than Randy Meisner. Rest in peace.
I got to thinking about
Did you ever take a dump
Ricky
made you feel
Roma.
like you just slept for 12 hours? Did you ever take a dump made you feel like you just slept for 12 hours?
Oh man,
Ricky Roma.
Ricky Roma. That's the machine. You can't throw. That's the machine. You can't throw.
If anyone listening has not seen that movie, and what's the name of it again?
Glengarry Glen Christmas.
Okay,
Ross.
if you haven't seen it, go see it. If you have to order a cheap knockoff used DVD from Amazon streaming, just see it.
And I have. Go ahead, Lou.
When I saw that movie in the theaters, and I noticed they said that David Mamet, the playwright, he has a certain diction style that he likes his actors to use, because Joe Montaigne has a certain way of speaking.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the David Mamet style. But the scene where I was driving a Hyundai then, had a Hyundai Excel, and the scene where Alec Baldwin's like, "You drove here in a Hyundai," I was like, "Screw you, man!"
You see this watch?
I drove here in a Hyundai to this movie.
This watch costs more than your car.
That's right. Yeah. Ever take a dump that made you feel like you slept 12 hours?
But I have a picture of Mark Smith at boot camp in the Marines.
I want that head so sanitary and squared away that the Virgin Mary herself would be proud to go in there and take a dump.
This is Mark now.
I'm a joker. Do you believe in the Virgin Mary? Sir, no, sir. Private joker. Yeah. I don't believe I heard you correctly. Sir, the private said no, sir, sir. Are you little maggot? You make me want to vomit. You goddamn communist
great
heathen,
shot.
you had best found out that you love the Virgin Mary, or I'm going to stomp your guts out. Now, you do love the Virgin Mary, don't you? Sir, negative, sir. Private Joker, are you trying to offend me?
See, the shot is Joker's face.
Yeah,
that really hit his face.
Will be wrong. And the
He's
senior
angry.
drill instructor will beat him harder if he reverses himself, sir.
Whoa,
Great scene.
Was that fourth grade in Zion Lutheran?
Yeah. No, I didn't have.
Shit me Tiffany cufflinks.
I didn't have a certain science teacher yet. Won't mention his name. That was fifth grade, so
I know
it
who
could be
you're
fifth
talking
grade.
about. My brother had him. Sadist.
I had a letter written in front of class why I didn't want to go to the camp, and he read it and laughed at it and threw it in the wastebasket. Boy, oh boy!
Wow,
yeah. That scene. And I know in that movie that when you saw someone get hit, it wasn't fake. Like, what's his name? The director said, Stanley Kubrick said, really hit him. And they were put through boot camp. That was real shit, you know. The one in that movie, Vincent D'Onofrio, I would have been scared to act with him, you know.
They actually bumped heads, apparently. Joker and
Matthew Modine?
Modine and
Kubrick?
No, and
the drill
sergeant.
Private Pyle. Arlie Ermey.
No, Private Pyle.
Vincent D'Onofrio. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Vincent D'Onofrio went to the
Modine.
method acting school.
Yeah.
And Matthew Modine went to like the Adler school. Yeah. So in other words,
Stella Adler.
Yeah. So Vincent D'Onofrio became the character as where Matthew was acting the character.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think if Vincent D'Onofrio had not embodied that character, it would not have come out the way it did.
Exactly.
That's a long way from Mystic Pizza.
Yeah. Gained 80 pounds for the role too, he said. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, I never had anyone PT my ass till it was sucking buttermilk, and I never want to. I never want to shit anyone a pair of Tiffany cufflinks.
What is PT anyway? Cleaning the toilets or
physical therapy? Piss patrol.
Our good friend from Tennessee, whenever I send him music that makes him cringe, he goes, "My ass is craving the buttermilk." It's a Southern thing. I don't know what it means. Your ass is sucking buttermilk. Is that good or bad?
Once, Lou, you had said once about what Private Joker's real name was.
J.T. Davis.
There's a scene There's one scene
Yes, there
where
is.
he's up on the obstacle course with Private Pile.
Yeah.
Trying to help him, and you see his back, and it says J.T. Davis.
Yeah. Yep.
And do you know who J.T. Davis was?
Jefferson Davis.
J.T. Davis was the first American soldier killed in combat in Vietnam. J.T. Davis.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Killed
that's
in
a little,
combat.
that's a little nugget there.
Mm.
Wow,
Yeah,
interesting.
Yep.
All from a British
f-
director too. You know,
A good friend of ours, Perry, a guy I used to work with here, his cousin, I think, was one of the earliest people killed in the Marines. Way back.
Really?
Yeah. Big story. War ain't war hell.
yep.
Yeah.
It sure
Good thing
is.
I'm Generation Jones, man. You know?
You're a baby boomer. You're Generation Jones. You're a baby boomer.
What the hell am I?
You
guys?
gotta be shitting me.
What am I? What did you tell me what I am?
You're Gen X.
Gen X.
You're generation. Well, you were born. You were in 69.
You're
69.
zombie. You're like zombie generation. I
Yeah,
think.
69. Yeah.
Generation undead.
The only people,
Something like that.
the only people I knew that were born the year I was born were everyone in my classes in Zion or in Pascack Valley High School. Other than that, I don't run into anybody born in 69.
My first wife was born in 1969.
Oh, okay.
It's Bad Ronald.
Oh, there's another person born in 69, Steve Wilson. There you go. That's why
okay.
that's why I love Steve
you
Wilson.
guys are,
Steve Wilson, yeah.
You guys are Gen Xers. Perry and I, now we dispute this. I disputed this with Scott McLean of the Milk Crates and Turntables podcast.
Mhm.
That he goes, we're baby boomers. Now Scott's 2 years younger than, or 2 or 3 years younger than me. He's my brother's age. I'm not a baby
Jones.
boomer.
Yeah.
I'm not a
Baby boomers are old now. I mean, they're really old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rubber
they're
baby boomers.
Generation X.
So
I thought we were Generation X. I thought I was Generation X, but then it got bumped back like your Social Security retirement. Now I have to wait another couple of years.
There you go.
Where I think I read the Douglas Copeland novel Generation X, and Billy Idol coined the term. You know, give him credit for that. Yeah, man. But it was like 61 on, they said. But even still, I think it encompasses the late 50s to that mid period.
I'm going to read that book. I just wrote it down. Generation X.
It was good. He did some pretty prophetic things. He said that, he's roughly mine and Perry's age. You know, we had a younger brother that was just dying to get into middle management. Where he thought, Douglas Copeland thought, I'm a little more edgier than my younger brother, who seems a lot more conservative. Like, they seem like he called them global teens. Like they were just, they're realizing that they may not become CEOs, so they're willing to go into the middle management realm and just,
We're the last.
There.
My generation is like we're the last of the breed that grew up with dial phones, no cell phones, no computers. Computers were around, but not at homes. After us, people had cell phones.
The iPhone didn't come out till 1987,
but there were cell phones.
That's when after your
2007.
generation.
2007 was the first iPhone.
Yeah, that was iPhone, but there were cell phones before that.
After Mark's generation, I think that's when the super parenting became the thing.
Yeah,
where,
we were the last. We were the last generation where our parents let us go out all night.
Well, I see these memes saying, when we were young, we used to like go out after dinner and hang out. We used to walk home from school. Like, well, what happened? I said, you took it away from the kids. You just all of a sudden you swoop down, and every
buddy.
every
what do you want to do, buddy? Yeah, buddy.
Every
buddy.
second
the
has
kids are
been
all buddies
scheduled
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to do, buddy?
I rule my son with an iron fist.
Well, look. I don't want to see that.
I'm a totalitarian, authoritarian parent.
You'll hear parents now say there's dangerous people out there. Well, I used to walk home from Zion to home in Hillsdale. It's a 3-mile walk. I had a guy on Kindercamack Road slow down, say, "Get in the car, kid." That was back in the 70s, So it's always been going on. You just have to be smart.
Yes,
you have to protect yourself.
It's
you
true.
know when to run. Get the fuck out and run.
We also had we traveled in packs sometimes, but I used to cut through yards. I used to cut through like different air, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now here's some nostalgia. Remember the bear in northern New Jersey, people, and between the Garden State Parkway and Montvale and Park Ridge and Woodcliff Lake, there was this expanse of land known as the Bear's Nest.
Yes.
It was the last expanse of undeveloped land in our northern New Jersey, Bergen County area where we lived in the Pascack Valley. So we used to cut from the roller rink my family owned. We used to run across the parkway, which is beyond stupid, and then go through the Bear's Nest and find our way through into like Spring Valley Road and Park Ridge.
Wow.
And that right. So what happened at the end of that? That's where the condominium complex where Richard Nixon spent his last days was.
Yeah. And also a great restaurant and bar called the Bear's Nest, which is
The
now
Bear's Nest,
Peppercorns. Also,
Yes.
anyone that just for reference, that Lou's talking about the final exits of the Garden State Parkway. It starts at the bottom of New Jersey, and this was the very end of it at the top. So
exit 172.
Yep.
Right. So we're from New Jersey. When people say what exit you're from, we say
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yep.
That's what exit I'm
Because
from.
it goes from 1, which is down
You
by Cape May, right?
Pork roll eating son of a. What's that?
Right. Exit 1, Cape May, New Jersey. Right?
Is that exit? I've never been on the Parkway. I never made it beyond Atlantic City on the Parkway.
I always wanted to do that. They say if you go south, when you get into Cape May, it kind of just fizzles out. It kind of like goes in a bunch of directions. And you're on a regular road. I'd love to do that.
It's just done, right? It's like a tributary after that.
Now, when you're at the top, when you get off the New York State Thruway, you're on a highway right away, and it crosses and becomes, But I'd love to see that at the bottom. That would be so cool.
That's where you cross the Chimpanzee Bridge.
Yeah. No, it's well. That's a big.
No.
Listen,
it's got a new name now.
Listen,
Mark,
Lou. This
right?
is a big thing up here.
It's a Mario Cuomo Bridge.
All right, they blew up the Tappan Zee Bridge and they put it in the Long Island Sound to help support the reefs, the steel, because the reefs they grow on the steel. So it's a new bridge.
They're dropping garbage into the river.
My God! But if you say it, you get it's crazy. And I just it's like. When I know that makes you mad, I'm just going to go at you. I don't care really either way, but I'll go at you.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
When they were demolishing the bridge, I felt it in.
Hold on a second. Wait.
In New Jersey,
I've been gone a long time. Maybe you guys didn't come up and tell me.
So I was lucky
been in prison here.
I work.
So the Tappan Zee Bridge was torn down.
And
the Tappan Zee Bridge, Yep.
So when they blew up the center structure, they actually had to blow it up.
Wait a minute, Mark. They blew it up.
So
they demolished. They blew it up.
They blew up the thing. They blew it up.
They blew it up. They imploded it.
So the story is the bridge was very cheaply built. Here you have a bridge that said it was only 30 years old, and they said, or 40, and they said it's past its lifespan. Meanwhile, you had the George Washington Bridge, which was 100 years old. It's fine. It was sinking into the river. It had to be replaced. You would drive over it, and you would feel yourself go over the steel girders, and the pavement would dip like boom.
I hear you.
So when they were taking it apart, I'm lucky where I work. I was on a top of a building in Nyack looking. We saw it get blown up, the center span. It was really cool. He saw the flash, and then about 4 or 5 seconds later, boom, and it was really cool. But yeah, they built it in record time. They got they were given the money by the government to build it, and they got that new bridge up pretty damn quick. And it's a beautiful bridge. I'll text you a picture of it.
Yeah,
it's
please.
the same length. It's the same length, but it's
I called the Mario Cuomo Bridge.
Yeah,
right. Well, I heard that. I didn't know it was new.
Yeah.
I used to drive that bridge when my first girlfriend lived in Yonkers, so I used to drive across that bridge in the late 70s, early 80s all the time. And after I'd hang out with Kathy, I'd hang out with this kid. His name was Crazy Dave Berkowitz. He was a nutty kid. He lived in Yonkers. Yeah.
Were you talking to dogs and stuff? Yeah.
Weird. I like that. I said, dude, the dog is not talking to you. Like, knock it off.
My memory of that bridge. My dad worked in Yonkers for years at the Cross County Shopping Center, and I'd go with him sometimes. And you had ticket books instead of toll. So if you were a commuter,
that's right. That's right.
He would hold the book out you had to have the ticket sticking out so the toll collector would just rip it off.
Yeah.
And it was just like memories of that, and the smell of the leaded gas and all that stuff.
I love toll collectors. My late brother Gary was a toll collector on the Garden State Parkway.
Really?
Yeah. So when we had a roller rink in Montville, New Jersey, in North New Jersey, we used to drive down to Monmouth County on late Saturday nights. My dad would stop and talk to this guy. His name was Bielski. I remember his name was Mr. Bielski. They would talk politics at this offshoot on the Garden State Parkway going into Monmouth County, like Red Bank. And we'd be like, Dad, we want to go. It's like 1, 2 in the morning. They'd be like, rah, 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 discussing politics. But my brother and I, sometimes we'd gather candy like Skittles and all kinds of things. And what we do, we'd sit in the back of the car. When my dad would go through the thing, we'd throw the Skittles at the toll collectors or into the coin collectors. So one day we pelted the toll collector with Skittles. He probably thought it was like The Godfather, where like he got riddled instead of Sonny. And as my father drove away, the guy screams. He stops the car. My father stops as people trying to get in. The guy's like, "Your kids threw Skittles!" So that was the days when your parents could reach into the back seat and smack you while they're driving.
And it happened to me. And they had the back window of the
go whack
station
in the head.
wagon open, bringing the
Sure.
exhaust in, so that gave me my brain
Yeah,
damage,
yeah.
you know? So,
Yeah, asthma.
Well, in New Jersey, there are
Good
still
old
people
days.
who do not have Easy Pass. They
Right.
still have toll
Really?
bearers where they
Ugh.
have, like, you know, your people that still go in there with change and whatever.
I get it in that if the problem now is that you have to be on the internet, right? And there's people that just haven't caught up to that. So I feel bad.
Yeah.
Like up here in New York, like when I go over the Maricopa Bridge, or the bridge, I'll say, you don't
Mhm.
stop. It's automated, panels.
Mhm.
And if you don't have an Easy Pass, they send you a bill. Now, I didn't have an Easy Pass for years because I was arguing with them. It's easy to get those bills, and then if you don't pay it, it goes like 4 times up, then 5 times. All of a sudden, you owe.
Mm.
Before you know it, you owe $800, and I feel sorry for
Yeah.
people that some people just are not internet savvy, and you can't blame
Yeah.
them. Like not everybody,
Mhm.
And so
Some people
yeah.
still write checks at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
start me on that. You want to talk about burning my ass? I
Tell me
hate
about
that.
it. And
Oh.
each time they do it, it's like the first time they ever wrote a fucking check. Like
Really
their
chaps
hand
my
hovers
ass.
over it. Like write your goddamn name in the amount already. You're not
I
gonna
want to go
fuck
like
it
this.
up.
It's a fucking debit card. Just get your fucking debit card. Sorry to curse. Sorry.
They do this thing like it's like some magic wand over the keypad. Just do it.
Oh Lord.
Fucking people.
All right. So we did some Jersey talk. That's cool.
We did. Why not?
Hey, are you done, Perry? Are you anything else?
I'm done. Yeah.
Hey.
We have another
Yeah,
category
so
for
Lou,
Lou, I think, right?
You had something about statement about songs referring to dogs. Is
To
that what it
dogs.
is? Okay.
Yeah. Do you love dogs?
I love dogs.
Everybody
I
loves
love
dogs.
cats and dogs.
Me too.
Yeah.
I love cats too. I'm just very highly allergic to them, unfortunately. But I've had quite a few great cats in my lifetime. So I was thinking about, in the last couple of months, I've had dreams about my dog Buddy. We've talked about it on the show. Buddy was the studio dog at the old SWS, the old Single Wide Sound Studios up in Barnesville,
Yeah.
North Carolina. My little sanctuary, the cheap place I rented when I needed a cheap place to rent. But it was a hotbed of music and fun and camaraderie. But I had this great dog, a golden retriever beagle mix named Buddy. That was my best friend for 10 years.
I'm going to say
When I
something right
needed-
now.
when-
Buddy was the
What?
first dog that I saw. I've always loved dogs. I grew up with dogs, but Buddy was the first dog that made me think that I think people could be reincarnated as dogs. Like it's happening
Yeah.
because he was very human. I see that
He
now
was.
with my daughter's dog. Same thing.
Mhm.
Like you get that
Yeah.
feeling,
And when
Yeah.
they understand it, they're very empathetic. They understand your emotions. And
Yeah.
but like you said, I was thinking like I needed a friend like that. I was living isolated. It was just not very social
There-
environment.
There's the
And-
thing. All dogs, they don't even know it, but they are therapy dogs.
Yes.
They're therapy
Yeah,
dogs.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, Perry, he was with me
Yeah.
through the death of 3 family members, a divorce.
Yep.
Just a lot of difficulty in my first 10 years or so of
Yeah,
living in North Carolina. So anyway, I was thinking, like how many songs and especially Asheville is a very dog friendly city. And how many people, how many songs have been written about the dog in specific, the dog mentions kind of laterally or
Mhm.
reference in some way. And there's countless, there's so many. And it's because it is such a beloved animal. Al Stewart wrote Year of the Cat, but there are some
Yeah.
great, great dog songs. Can you guys think of any off the top of your head?
Shannon is gone. That's a dog song, right?
Shannon, yes, that was by Henry Gross.
Yes.
The song it was written actually about Carl Wilson of the Beach Boys dog. I believe the dog went for a swim like the Boo and Jaws and never came back. Whatever the dog, Bo, whatever the dog's name was.
yeah.
She's drifted out to sea. It's okay. So,
Ooh,
but it's a tearjerker. But here's a little side note. Henry Gross was one of the founders of Sha Na Na.
Oh,
yeah, I remember you
The
mentioning that
50s
sometime
revival,
in
the
the past.
50s
Yeah. Yep.
They played at Woodstock.
I was going to say he played at Woodstock. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a trivia question. What was the theme song for Sha Na Na?
Remember.
Wow.
Oh, I thought it was remember.
No,
Get a job.
It's Get a Job by who?
I don't know.
Silhouettes.
Silhouettes.
Yeah. Okay, can we name any other songs?
Any other songs with a dog in it?
A dog.
Yes.
I mean, not necessarily in the title,
but I've got it.
I mean, it's got to be a strong dog reference, not like, I don't know Diamond Dogs.
You and a dog named Boo.
Nice.
Traveling and living off the land.
Nice.
Lobo. Me and you, the dog named Boo. Yeah.
Lobo. That song, I was reading, that song epitomized, I read the quote, it epitomized that whole early 70s country easygoing vibe where, living off the land. The song was just basically about being good hippies.
Yeah, I remember to this day, the bright red Georgia clay.
Yep. All right. Nice. Lobo. Yep. What was his other big? He had another. Lobo was a band or was it a person?
Baby, I'd love you to want me the way that I want.
I love you to, something like that. Yeah. Yep. Early 70s soft rock.
Had those 45s probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark, can you name a song with a dog in it or about a dog?
I'm going to think of a million after we stop the show, but I'll say
there was one you sent me today. You sent me something today.
Oh, Pink Floyd. Okay, so it's not really about a dog, but it's Seamus, and it's they're playing a piano, and the dog actually howls singing along. And I sent you the video clip too.
Yes,
I think it was David Gilmour's dog.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it looks like he's strangling the dog, when he's holding the thing. Yeah. So there's a dog song, but I mean it doesn't have beautiful.
Dog?
It's called Seam. Yeah, I think that's the dog's name.
Is it from Animals?
No, Metal. The album that came out before Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah,
with their masterpiece.
It's early. It's earlier.
Yeah. And that clip, by the way, that clip came from them playing at Pompeii. So,
wow, were they on acid?
They couldn't have been. If you play in that amphitheater and you're on acid, you're not going to be able to play music. They had to have been just totally sober, straight.
There's too much history, and
I'm still trying to think of other dog songs.
Me too. How about Doggy Style from?
Well, you're not going like "Who Let the Dogs Out?"
Really.
Whoop, like none of that. Right?
I did not add that. Well, I'll name one. Yeah. Hound Dog.
Oh yeah.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, Big Mama Thornton. Yeah.
Let's say who wrote it exactly.
Yeah, Big Mama Thornton. Martha, My Dear by the Beatles off the White Album.
Ah, that's a sheepdog.
That was Paul's Sheepdog.
Martha,
and that is also that is a great song.
Hold your head up, you silly girl.
Yeah. Take a good rhythm change. The whole rhythm on that song. I mean, musically, it's a great song. I think it's one of the best songs in the White Album.
That's a great song. Yeah.
Black Dog, Led Zeppelin.
Oh yeah.
How about
Bob Dylan. One? Hey, Mama says the way you move, gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove.
Watch your honey drip, can't keep away.
I'm gonna leave you. I leave you when the sun don't shine no
Black
more.
Dog. And in fact, I remember reading it at Headley Grange. There was this black dog that was hanging around, right? And John Bonham is the one who came up with the idea, right?
How about this one?
Okay.
Mark, please.
Obvious one from Pink Floyd Animals, Dogs, where Roger Waters had basically segmented.
How does that go?
Well, you gotta be crazy, isn't it? Yeah. He segmented humans into animals. So like sheep, obviously we know what that represents. Mm-hmm. Dogs were basically people who work and have good motives, but they never get, they work their ass off their whole life. That's what dogs do. They try to please people, Yeah.
How about this one? How much is that doggy in the window?
Yeah.
Who's that? Rosemary Clooney?
Patty Page.
Patty Page.
That's the eldest one on the list.
Well, that was a pop song in the 50s too, right?
Yeah,
that was pop.
Also, how about this one? Mama Will Bark. With Frank Sinatra with Mitch Miller.
Oh, boy, yeah, Mitch Miller made him do those kind of songs, yeah.
I'm surprised Sinatra didn't have him whacked for that. Anyway, Old Shep by Elvis. Old Shep. I can't help it. Old Shep. I Want to Be Your Dog by the Stooges.
Yeah.
Going to Buy Me a Dog by the Monkees.
Yep.
Now, this one will make all of us cry. Mr. Bojangles.
Oh, no. I know. Mr. Bojangles, yeah.
My version of what I think it was always the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Yeah.
The man is still mourning his dog 20, 30 years later.
The dog up and died. Yeah. Yep.
Man, does that rip your heart out?
Because the mandolin, the weeping mandolin, that always broke me down, man.
And
when I was,
throughout the South, there's great harmonies. But I mean, he was a traveling guy. That dog was his companion. The dog just died, and that's the part about being.
Said I drinks a bit. Yep.
Dirty Old Egg Sucking
Damn
Hound by
it.
Johnny Cash.
I just thought of that. I just
Did
thought
you?
of it.
I
That's
never heard that. I didn't
synchronicity,
know what you're
Lou.
talking about.
That's
Yeah,
synchronicity.
A dream dance. How about Black Eyed Dog by Nick Drake?
Mm-hmm.
More of a
I
downbeat
may have
song.
heard it, but just don't know the name of it. Yeah.
Right. Rufus Thomas had Do the Dog and Walking the Dog.
Walking the Dog. I remember that one. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just a walking the dog. Yep.
I Love My Dog, Cat Stevens, 1967.
I remember
Wow.
that. I know that song.
Remember that one? You
I
do?
got another one. I got one for you.
Okay. Please.
Now you're talking about a son of a bitch. Hair of the dog.
Dog.
Hair of the Dog, Nazareth.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Now you're messing with the son of a bitch. Sorry.
Now you're messing. What? What's it called? Man of the Hour by Nora Jones. It's a song. She's wrote about a dog, but she's writing almost like she's talking about a guy.
Yes,
Like,
I have that album. Yeah.
Yeah, you're always hungry. You don't want to take a shower with me. It's the kinds of weird things. Atomic Dog by George Clinton.
Yes.
My Dog and Me by John Hyatt. I listened to it today. Really nice song. It is a John Hyatt song through and through. He's got a certain. It's a pedal steel. It's not pedal steel, Perry. Maybe you know what it is. It's that. It's played with a slide. It's a John Hyatt sound. Whoever the guy that's playing it.
Yeah.
It's on there.
It could be Sonny Landry. I don't know.
Could be Sonny, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sonny Landry. Yeah.
All right. Old Blue by the Byrds from 1969.
That's about a dog, huh?
That's about a dog. I Want a Dog by the Pet Shop Boys, 1987. I've never heard that.
I have, and that's for Scott. That's for Scott McLean because he's a big Pet Shop Boys fan.
Jane Siberry, Everything Reminds Me of a Dog.
Including Men.
Right. Every Dog Will Have His Day by Procol Harum. It's an older one. Here's a quote from that song. Every puppy chooses balls, Lord. Every puppy loves to scratch. When a puppy chooses balls, Lord, you know you've met your match. Procol Harum.
Wow.
There's the puppy song by Harry Nilsson.
I may have actually heard that song one time.
There's a song called Cracker Jack by Dolly Parton about a dog. Rain Dogs by Tom Waits. I Love My Dog by Sublime about his Dalmatian Lou Dog. Let's see. How Come My Dog Don't Bark When You Come Around by Dr. John. That's a song about because his girl she's so familiar with this other man that the dog knows who the other guy is and likes him, so doesn't bark when he comes around. Here's that. This is Led Zeppelin. Bronwyer. How do you pronounce that?
Bronwyer.
It was always cool. Where I was from was Bronny or Stomp.
Okay, that's about a dog.
Yeah.
The B-52s have a song called Quiche Lorraine about a poodle that was like dyed green, like they made it, and the dog got away and ran away, and they're like, how could you not find a dog that was like rainbow colored? And finally, the Royal Guardsman, Snoopy and the Red Baron.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, you missed one, Lou.
I probably missed a whole bunch.
Right.
What do you got?
So I'm going to admit to you right now, I'm going to, in the interest of transparency, I'm cheating, but I saw a song I do know, Old King by Neil Young. It's about one of his dogs, and it's on the Harvest Moon album. It's a great little country ditty. Great song.
Okay. What about Dog
When
Police?
I hear Neil Young, Long May You Run, I always think of a dog that I had.
Good point.
Long May You Run.
Right.
You know, I always think like, the dog.
It's funny, whenever I've noticed on social media, whenever someone's dog crosses the so-called Rainbow Bridge, so many people write, Long May You Run.
Long May You Run, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like Closer to the Heart is Rush's Christmas song when it's really not.
Good point.
Yeah.
Recorded in Wales, where Bronwyer is located. Little synchronicity there.
Very cool, man. I like that. That's great, Mark. How about Dog Police? One of the first MTV early contests we talked about.
Yeah, that's
Dog Police. Dog Police.
Yep.
Well, so that's as far as the dog
What about
songs
movies with dogs? Like I saw
Old
Patrick
Yeller
Swayze movie called Black Dog,
Oh, that's a great movie.
where he was a truck driver.
And Meatloaf
he
was
had
in
to-
that. Meatloaf was in it.
Meatloaf was in there. So was
Yeah.
Randy Travis, right?
Yeah, that was a good
How
movie.
about Old
Was that-
Yeller?
Old Yeller, yeah.
Oh,
Old Dogs
dude,
Go to Heaven?
Shane. Shane is about
Dude,
a dog, isn't it?
Shane.
my favorite dog movie is Because of Winn-Dixie. I love that movie.
I recently saw that. I told you that was a great movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
A Boy and His Dog.
yeah. Or girl and her dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have they
Still, I'm
retconned it?
crying thinking about it right now. That was
They
some-
woke it.
Yeah, because your guy acted in it.
Dave Matthews.
Who's that?
Otis.
The
Right.
jittery Dave Matthews.
I'm not a bad man.
What
I'm
was
a
the
good man.
what was the movie about the slobbering Saint Bernard?
Beethoven or something.
Beethoven?
Wasn't it?
With Charles
With
Grodin?
Charlie,
Yeah.
with Charlie
Benji?
Grodin. Yeah.
Benji, yeah.
Benji,
Lady and the
yeah,
Tramp.
yeah. Wasn't that
Lady
about a
and-
rat with Michael Jackson? No, Benji was
That
the
was
dog.
Ben,
yeah.
you're always running here.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. Best song about a rat ever written.
Benji, yeah.
Benji. Yeah, but the Great American Dog, Cheech and Chong, Black Lassie, fat and sassy, the Great American Dog.
Cheech and Chong, they had that.
I wasn't gonna say bitch.
Remember the one the guy was eating dog shit? He said, Jabotnik, come here. What that?
No, I
Smell
remember the
like dog shit to you? Smell like dog shit to me. Taste.
How about when Cheech and Chong with the dog's taking a dump, going. How about pink flamingos? How about pink flamingos when Divine takes a bite out of dog shit? We're going bad. This is just. Let's bring it back
Made you
up.
feel like
Listen,
you just
listen.
slept for 12 hours. Did you ever take a dump made you feel like you just slept for 12 hours?
Jesus Christ.
My line from Cheech and Chong is, we like chase cars. Don't do that, man. They'll give you brain damage. Brain
That's
damage
right,
from
yeah.
chasing cars? No. Brain damage from when your head gets run over by the rear wheel. Or, what's that smell? Fifi.
Oh wow.
Get off me. Get off me.
Bailiff whack his pee-pee.
I'm just still trying to think of more songs with dogs in them.
I'm thinking of movies, too. There's
yeah,
plenty.
or movies, or
Well,
Yeah,
Lassie
can't-
obviously was the first big
Well,
movie.
Lassie,
Oh,
yeah,
my God, Lassie,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And there was Timmy and Lassie.
yeah, Lassie was a female. Yeah,
What?
collie. right?
Really?
Collies are great dogs.
Yeah, they are.
I had a German Shepherd collie one time, Samantha.
I grew
Nice.
up with Benji. My dog was Honey, we called her, and growing up, and she
Aw.
looked like Benji.
I had a Siberian Husky, and he was insane.
Ooh, wow.
He was very loyal to me. He was very sketchy with other people. I've had other people say Siberian Huskies. I don't think they're very bright. I don't think they're very intelligent.
They just protect.
But
They protect.
They're shrewd judges of character, because my dog would have this hatred for certain people that were shitheads. It's kind of weird.
So they're not. He wasn't dumb. He was smart.
Yeah,
Oh,
or
I'm
a
thinking of
shrewd
another
judge
song,
of
but that's
character.
about a horse.
Hmm.
She
Which one?
came down from Yellow Mountain, and a wildfire. That's about a horse. That's not a dog, right? She ran calling wildfire.
Yeah,
that's
that's about a horse.
yeah.
That's
John
about a horse.
Michael Martin Murphy. Great song.
Michael Murphy.
Michael Martin.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, that's
I think
good,
I'm
man.
tapped out.
That's
I
good.
think I'm tapped out for dogs.
Oh, by the
then.
way, want to just say that our show is now sponsored by Blue Diamond Dog Food, and you can buy it at your local store.
And milk bones.
But I will say that after the show is posted, the last thing you will see would be a tribute to Lou's dog, Buddy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I once took a bite out of a Gainsburger. It was
Yeah,
not what
my
I
brother
thought it was.
did too. Yeah.
Ooh. It
My
looked
brother
like
had a dog biscuit one time.
What's a Gainsburger?
I tried a milk bone. A Gainsburger. It was dog food. It was in individually wrapped patties. It looked like an uncooked,
Looked like a hamburger.
uncooked hamburger patty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, it looks like a Play-Doh concoction. So I took a bite out of one. It was really, to me, it was salty. I don't think dogs do salt, but it was
Yeah.
definitely horrible.
Well, it might have been horse meat. You don't know.
Probably was. It was probably a trigger burger.
Listen, before I started kindergarten at Zion, I think I must have been 4. I remember walking. No, it's probably kindergarten. My sister having said, "These are good cookies," and of course, anything my sister had, I wanted. Right? Give me one. You can have it. And I'm eating it, and it tasted salty, but I'm eating it. And I just have this memory of my mom walking in the kitchen, screaming at my sister, "Why are you giving Mark dog biscuits?" And I don't know what happened after that. She obviously got hit. I don't know.
That's funny.
Speaking of trigger, I'm Willie Nelson, 90 years old, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Do you think he'll be there and play?
Yes,
Maybe
I think
he
he
will.
Yes, I do.
Wow. Yeah.
Romina, my daughter, just saw him recently. Yeah, at Forest Hill Stadium in Queens.
Yeah.
Lucas
Cool.
Nelson opened the show, and Bob Weir opened the show. Like it was a all-day thing,
Wow.
and she said he was great. He's still
Respect.
got it.
Well, you know, he got
Yeah.
high with Bob Weir
Oh,
before and after
definitely.
the show. Yeah.
What Willie does, Willie's been using a vaporizer for years now.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want the heat to go into his lungs. I have another little dog story. My Italian-speaking grandfather liked to play cards with his cronies. So one day he was drinking one and he was eating dog biscuits, but didn't know it. So they probably weren't hard. But now, like, the shop I work for, Metro Wines, is a very dog friendly shop. Our owners rescue greyhounds, so we always have dog treats.
That's great.
They're beautiful animals. I mean, they have an Irish greyhound, and I forgot the other one they've had for a couple of years. But the Irish greyhound, she's very soft. They have a very thin, short coat, but she's very soft. But a beautiful animal.
They're bred to race, and then when their racing is done, a lot of them get euthanized. It's terrible.
Yeah, they euthanize. But some ended up in dog tracks in Florida, the racing tracks.
I had a neighbor that used to rescue them from racetracks.
Yeah,
good. This when I lived on Mill Street, and she had the yard behind me, and she'd let them out, and they would be zipping around like 100 miles an hour in circles, just doing what they do. They're greyhounds,
meant to run.
They loved it. Yeah, they didn't have to. They weren't forced to chase an electronic rabbit.
I worked in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Same thing. Bridgeport, Connecticut has greyhound tracks, and I knew Lady Deborah, who was dog rescue, and she said they get euthanized literally like a day after. It's terrible, and their whole life is trying to please somebody or whatever. They're racing.
Yeah, they are very friendly. I mean, they're when a greyhound kind of jumps up to meet you, you got to watch out. You don't get your face knocked off.
Yeah.
But they're very gentle. Interesting. Beautiful. Walking them is hysterical because I help them walk them sometimes, and it's like walking two deer. You're like it's to be on a sled.
The other dog that gets shit on a lot because my boss in Connecticut was a dog lover. He bred Portuguese water dogs, but he cringed every time Disney would re-release or do a sequel to 101 Dalmatians. He hated it. All dog lovers hate it because everyone buys a puppy for their kids. Those dogs require constant attention. They run like crazy, and they get put up for adoption.
Then when they realize it's too much to handle, back to the pound for the poor thing,
or they abandon it. And so every time I remember saying, they're redoing 101 Dalmatians with Glenn Close, and he's like, oh no, he just got really mad because he knew.
Here we go. It's gonna happen again. Yeah. Animals like that, even like the golden retriever, which is probably one of the most popular dogs in the world. Buddy was half golden retriever. The thing is, they want to please their owners so much. They're so sweet and lovable. Every golden retriever I've ever met has been like, I can't leave the house. It's just I want to take them with me. But it's that's how they're bred. So but they need energy. They have energy. They're working dogs. If you have a working dog, you got to take this thing out. It's got to. It needs a purpose.
They have to get walked. Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's why I don't have a dog, because I love dogs, but to not give that dog attention like you would to your own child is cruel to the animal. So I'm like,
dogs, unlike cats, are more high maintenance. Cats are independent. Dogs are not.
Cats only care when they want to get fed. They'll be waking you up when they want food. That's all they care about.
Yeah, people say dogs prepared to have a baby. Cats prepared to have a teenager.
That's a good one.
It's got its own thing happening. You can leave it alone for a couple of days. Hopefully, it won't fuck things up too much, or get in trouble.
Yep.
But the dog, you can't leave you're gone for an hour. The dog's like,
you can't leave cats for a couple of days. Somebody has to look in on the cat every day.
Of course, but you can leave cats food for a couple of days. They're smart. Dogs will eat everything.
God forbid you lived alone and say you got in an accident and you went in the hospital overnight. That cat would survive. The dog may not.
And I think if you die suddenly, the cat will eventually eat the webbing of your fingers and toes. The dogs won't.
No. But recently we lost a dog, Rascal, and it was like Rascal was my therapy dog. I can't even talk about it to this day. It was many months ago. I can't even talk about it because she doesn't know that Rascal is my therapy dog. That's the way they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
My dad would in his later years when he was alone after my mom passed, he would go to the pound and adopt older dogs, knowing that nobody wanted them.
Yeah.
These dogs, it was a double-edged sword because he'd bring them home and you could see the happiness that they had a place, but it was their later years. So he'd have them for maybe 3-4 years.
Yeah.
He went through a lot of deaths, and these dogs were wonderful.
It's
all
rough.
of them.
Yeah, but they had good lives for the last few years of their lives. So that's a saving grace.
Good job. Yeah. Yep. And they do understand and appreciate it. That's what they know. Again, when you see a puppy for the first time, they see people. They know how to react. It's a weird. It's an inbred relationship we have with them.
So again, at the end of this show, there'll be a tribute, about a minute or so tribute to Buddy. Lou's, what kind of dog was Buddy again? Part what?
He was a Beagle Golden Retriever mix. So he was super friendly, super affectionate, very great family dog. I had, I have a son. I also have a stepson. My stepson is 27. My son is 17. Whereas Buddy was my dog. Louis, my younger son, was Buddy's boy.
Yeah.
Buddy always had this. He knew Louis was a baby. He was always so gentle, but he was always protective of him. When they were outside, he was hysterical. Buddy was about 30 pounds, and the dog could not hurt a fly, literally.
Yeah,
but when Louis, I watched Louis on the yard. Buddy would like standing by him, like
we saw it. Yeah. Me and Perry saw it when we were down there. He would stand attention by him. Yeah.
And if not for Buddy,
there's even pictures I have of me sitting on your porch, just relaxing in the morning, probably drinking coffee, and Buddy's at my feet.
Yeah.
And he's just staring at me, like just kind of guarding over.
He accepted us.
Watching the situation.
I appreciate it. He accepted us. He's like, when we went into your home, Buddy was like, okay, you're part of the group.
At first, when you guys first pulled up, I let him out the front door because there was nothing I could do. And he just jumped all over you guys for about 5 minutes. And same with Stopman. When Stopman first came out of the house, I said, I'm just going to open the front door and let him. Buddy's going to run down the stairs like he never saw another human being before. But it just everybody was his friend. Everyone was his his family. And you guys, you all bonded. Buddy slept with you. One morning I come up. The people Mark and Perry visited one week. I come up. Mark, you were in your chair in the living room. Buddy's on the table, and you're letting him lick your face. What are you going to do? It's just it's one of the most beautiful things in the world.
There was one time I was down there, and you were at work, and I was walking Buddy. Throughout the day until you got back from work. And boy, he just wanted to, I'm a dog, man. I want to get walked. I love his stuff, Yeah,
and where we lived too, because he was half Beagle. His nose was always on the ground.
Yeah, so, they can smell things that we don't know about. Yeah,
a quarter mile of my house.
That's a hound. Yeah,
it was that was a hound.
Yeah,
a quarter mile from my house was all nature. It was all Pisgah National Forest. Flower roads. I would just walk him up there, and he would never. I mean, if a bear was in our way, he wouldn't know it until he looked up. Speaking of which, he saved me from meeting a bear in my driveway because my bedroom was on the driveway side, and my neighbors were leaving garbage everywhere. So we had this bear was camping on the property. The thing was big, so I was ready to leave for work one day. I'm going to go out the front door, and if Budney had it and been on my bed and seen the bear and barked, I would have gone down to my truck and been like, "Hey." Face to face with Ursus Americanus.
That's the amazing thing about dogs is they know what's out there before anybody else knows what's out there.
Well, I don't know if he smelled him, but he was on my bed. He saw the bear come down the driveway from the neighborhood.
He's part hound. Yeah, he probably smelled him. Yeah.
There's something ESP-ish or spiritual with dogs because Romina, my daughter's dog, has severe separation anxiety because her dog. The pound said they found her wandering Bear Mountain State Park. Somebody abandoned this dog. Small. I forgot it's a small white dog, just loving. So whenever Romina, we will babysit Charlie for her, and Charlie will start. The minute she walks out, he's nervous, shaking, but he accepts us. He's come. She just drives up in the front, and he gets up.
He knows.
Now, how is it? It's got to be a spiritual
sound of a car.
Yeah.
It's the sound of the car, the sound of the door. They know.
And I want to retract what I said. By saying that, thinking dogs were people, that was an insult to dogs. I gotta give more credit. They're just wonderful animals. Yeah,
they are. They're perfect.
Yeah.
And all dogs go to heaven, don't they?
Yep. That's right. As Phil Collins said.
That's right.
Yep.
See you on the other side.
Yeah.
And cats too.
Yeah.
Cats just have a little bit of a fuck you in their attitude, which I like. I like that. Yeah.
No, not really. Cats are so affectionate.
They are, but
they can
especially male cats.
I just know it's an independence. Like I grew up with a cat and a dog. They got along with each other. My cat would look at me and go, "You puny little human, but I love you." They were affectionate in their own way.
Well, growing up, we had beagles at one point, 2 beagles, a mother and a daughter, Lady and Twiggy. And if you laid on the ground, they were beagles. If you laid on the ground, played dead, Lady, the mother, would come and put her neck over your neck to see if you were breathing, or to keep you warm. I don't know what her intent
probably
was.
Both. Yeah.
Protection.
Probably to see if I was breathing, because we used to play dead on the floor.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and the beagle would, she would come up and put her neck over your neck. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Great,
Buddy,
amazing
in the
thing
wintertime,
about dogs.
in the wintertime, Buddy would he would sleep close to me in the wintertime, but sometimes I wake up and he'd be behind the pillows over my head. And I'd be like, I'd be like going like this and like, I've got like a Davy Crockett hat as a tail.
Yeah.
You know?
And they had the big
he's keeping
fur.
me
They
warm.
had the winter coat, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The great American
In fact,
dog.
on the tribute, I think there's a shot of Buddy in his winter coat.
Yes, there. Oh, there is.
Yeah.
Cool.
Buddy in the snow.
Yep. Oh, that was great.
Have we come up on that part? Have we
Yeah,
come
you
up
know
on
what?
2
This was
on 2 hours?
what's good about this show is that it was very personal, and we also talked about our hometowns and our growing up, which I think is interesting. And
yeah. In my little town.
Anyone listening on the West Coast? No, New Jersey is not the Bada Bing. It's so much more than that. Not much more, but it's a lot more.
It's not.
At times it is quite Bada Bing, but that's part of the charm of it.
It's much more than that, right?
I'd also like to take this opportunity to say, if you're still listening, we really appreciate it. Whatever platform you're listening on, please click like and subscribe. We do a lot of good shows, and we're available on Spotify, of course. You'll see us on Spotify. We're on Apple, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Amazon Alexa, Pocket Casts, YouTube, Facebook, Odyssey, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, and Overcast. So it's really easy to find us, but wherever you're listening to us now, we appreciate it. Stick to it.
Yeah.
And we do like emails, negative and positive, either way.
Yeah.
It's worth
the more negative, the better.
Perry, what's our email?
Mark Smith, M. Smith at
Music Relish Podcast.
Lou Colicchio at
Music Relish Podcast at gmail.com, or just
gmail.com.
Comment on the YouTube link. That's also,
Yeah. We might have 29 subscribers now.
I don't know, But, hey, Mark doesn't have his electric guitar. Oh, I shouldn't have said anything, Lou.
Perry, Perry, are we going to play the clip?
it's going to be on the uploaded show.
Well, it'll be on in post, buddy. Yeah, when it's loaded up.
I get it, because the technical things, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It would stop me from crying.
This is a Music Relish show. It's called the Music Relish Show. It's a Music Relish Show. It's a Judd band.
Wait, let me pour more wine so I can get a lower note.
It's Lou Colicchio. And Mark Smith is here too.
I can't do it.
Am I at a wedding?
Oi!
Nostrovia! It's a deer hunter.
Nostrovia.
Slanty. What's the Irish one? Slanty, Mark. How does that pronounce?
Slant.
How do you say that in Gaelic, Mark?
Slanty. Tonight I'm Don't Feck With Me, Freddie.
Bear Club. Where's my Bear Club?
It's the Music Relish Show. We're 48.
If you like this show, check out the Milk Crates and Turntables podcast with host Scott McLean and quite frequent contributors Mark Smith and myself, Lou Colicchio. The Wrecking too.
And we want Jack back.
Where's
Hashtag
Jack?
Where's Jack?
Where's Jack?
You gotta get a shirt that says, Where's Jack?
Where's
Find
he?
Jack in the pizza.
Yeah.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Wonderful show. Wonderful.
I didn't know that was a raga. That was a raga.
Raga Mama Raga.
Oh, wait, I got
don't
Yoko
know
here.
what you
Yoko.
do.
I actually have a song called Raga Mama Raga, Lou. Why you?
Do you really?
I do, yes.
I somehow knew
It
that.
was the B-side to Rag Mama Rag.
And I know
No,
we're still
no, it
recording,
was,
so I'm not going to say anything about your disease-ridden member or anything about your body that's ridden with diseases, because I know the recording thing is still on.
Yeah, it's still on. Absolutely. Yep.
Absalom, Absalom, Absalom. Name the tune.
Yeah.
For,
Hello.
distant early warning.
Yes, it's Bad Ronald.
There's a mass murderer. That's like
It is such
crazy
a
eyes. You ever see people with crazy eyes? You're like, stay the fuck away from that guy.
I don't have him in real life though. Put it up again.
Crazy eyes.
Crazy eyes.
Hello, Clarice.
So bad. They should use that in a horror movie.
Really? Because it's got like electronic binoculars.
Yeah, it's like night vision gamma ray scopes or whatever. Where'd Mark go? Mark's holding up
Hello,
ransom notes.
Clarice. He's holding up. He's saying, "What is this? The post show?" I don't know what you're talking about.
This is
No, it's not.
the free sample of the Patreon members post-show party. If
Yeah.
you want,
Patreon
one day we will
members.
have that option.
We are masters of ribaldry.
We're masturbators of ribaldry. Oh shit,
So
we're
that-
recording. God damn it.
Yeah, we're still
How's your
recording, Mark.
disease
You always
running?
make that mistake, Mark.
Well,
So
who's
this
got
is
the
our 40?
Huh?
This is our 48th show. 48.
Yeah, 48. Two more to
48.
48.
Wow.
FORTY.
So now our 50th. Wait, is next week our 2-year
49.
anniversary?
No,
November 5th was our. I think that was our.
November 4th or 5th. Yeah, that's about
was our debut.
2 years ago. That was when we did the first
Okay,
episode.
so
Yep.
next Sunday is what, the 29th? No, actually no. So November 5th is a Sunday, I think, and that'll be
Oh, wow.
that's our 2-year. Wow.
Wait,
Yeah,
2
I want
year.
hot dogs, balloons, the whole schmear.
Wait, that's just,
Oh,
that's just the cameras, right? The cameras.
Yeah, that's the Music Relish. Well, we were Music Relish podcast version 2 then, but we've
'Cause you
morphed into the show.
Yeah, you started in 1987 when I was a senior in high school.
Yeah,
Wait,
that's right.
I
yeah.
heard you on my local
we
AM
did,
radio
we did
station.
30 shows on
yeah.
the phones. That's all I can tell you. 30 shows on the phones, and everything after that was.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's been
Wait,
great.
30 shows. Wait, 30
And,
shows on the
yeah,
phone?
so we'll have some
Wait a
archive,
minute, wait a minute. So we've only done 18? No, wait, 30, 40, 10, 8. Oh,
No, we did 30 shows on the
Right.
phones, right?
okay. And so this is our technically our 48.
This is like 48th show, so 78.
Wow.
Right. That's right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
total
we
is
didn't
30.
do the archive clip tonight. We'll have to do it next
Yeah,
week.
we'll do the archives next week. Yeah, we have some archive clips coming up for the 2-year
what?
anniversary.
I was ragging
We're on
on
the
Jeff
phones.
Beck in that clip.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Yep. But we'll
I was,
do
I was
that.
doing
And
bad math before.
well, anyway, guys, what do you want to do, Mark?
It's been a good run.
I said something tonight. Somebody posted on Facebook something about Jeff Beck, and I commented of the Holy Trinity. Beck is my favorite because he always changed. He didn't stagnate. He didn't stay stagnant. And unlike the other two, he always like every album changed. Right? Someone replied, you're stupid. EC is God. Stop borrowing the Holy Trinity from the church. I'm like, social media just creates such numbskulls.
Well, why do you? But you do it. You get into those chats yourself. You know
go-
they're going to.
you go into
Somebody's
those
gonna say,
rabbit
Screw
holes."
you. You don't know anything.
I love
They do
that.
it for a reason.
So I like Jeff Beck's album Blow by Blow. It's the best album. No, I like it. That's all it is.
How about this one? What's your favorite food? Hot dogs, as long as Biden doesn't eat them. You're like, come on, man, or Trump or whatever. It's just like, you fucking idiot.
I was in a
Come on.
diner when John Kerry was running for president, and this couple next to me says, Heinz ketchup, because he was married to a Heinz.
Yeah.
Get this away. I'm like, please, come on, stop. It's the best
I want some
ketchup there is.
I want some Hunt's catsup.
If someone on the right owned Heinz ketchup, I'd still like it. It is what it is.
I like now. What I do with ketchup now, I don't do high fructose corn syrup.
No,
So I will do
good.
natural. I do a lot of Hunt's because it does have a corn syrup free ketchup. But some people, the ketchup is this derided working class condiment, but it is indeed a vegetable. Even though it's a fruit, it's a
It's
vegetable.
good on spaghetti.
It's good. It's good on French fries. It's good.
No, mayonnaise on French fries. Mayonnaise, my friend. Mayonnaise.
No, I agree. That grossed me out. I think it was Pulp Fiction grossed me out to that. But when I
Like
tried it, I'm
tomato
like,
wine.
I'm like, yeah, I like ketchup. It's like tomato wine. Ketchup on
tomato
a
wine.
burger. Yeah.
Look, I'm going to admit to you, growing up,
unscrambled eggs.
my grandma gave me ketchup on pasta. It's just what my grandma did, you know, and it's
You're
like,
not Italian,
Unless,
that's
of
why.
course, you go to Chick-fil-A. Then you get the Chick-fil-A sauce.
they sell that in the
Is that-
stores now.
Is that,
Yeah.
Did they really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And by the way, the best chicken sandwich you're ever going to get from
Bojangles.
fast food is Chick-fil-A.
Really?
Chick-fil-A,
I
really?
like the classic
yeah.
chicken sandwich from KFC. I love it. I don't know.
No, you guys don't have Bojangles up there.
No,
Bojangles
wish I
make
We
did.
it's
don't.
the-
We're above the Mason-Dixon.
yeah. Bojangles it's a Bo chicken sandwich. It's better. I've had them all.
I'm sure it's the
one.
best. Yeah.
It really is.
We're
And you can also
northern.
get
Me and Perry are northern aggressors. We don't get
Yes, you are.
to taste that
No,
stuff.
however,
I've been to
Popeyes-
Bojangles. I have a thing about when I go down to visit Lou. It's always got to be Bojangles.
Yeah.
Yep.
My son is a big Bojangles fan. What is it? The Popeyes has made their way down to North Carolina.
Really?
So
I'm
I've had-
surprised.
Popeyes is
Wow.
good.
Yeah,
That was
they
my
are.
fried chicken in New Jersey. I get the spicy kind too. It was
Yeah.
crispy. It had a crispy crust to it. In fact, the crust and the skin was all you really needed.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
big ass biscuit.
by the way,
yeah.
speaking of this, I found this clip of Scott McLean eating a Whopper
Oh,
and
Oh
a
my
Big
God.
Mac and putting
Yeah.
it together. It was friggin' hilarious, man. It was on his King of Facebook
It's a
page,
King of
Scott
Facebook.
McLean. And
He-
I comment like, this is friggin' fantastic. Man. He ate all the French fries and the onion rings and everything, but he
He
made
said
a Big Mac and a what do you call it together? And a
Dame,
Whopper.
He had to construct it though. He said he took the 2 extra buns and ate them.
Yeah,
But he said
like-
the eating the buns by themselves is really
now
weird.
that's entertainment. That's entertainment.
I'll tell you, they must buy so much fucking toilet paper. Him and his and his poor septic system or whatever. Holy, I mean,
He did
Well.
mention that night was a little turbulent. After he ate
what was that Thanksgiving sandwich that he has a video of him eating? What do you call it?
the
Melvin?
Luther.
The Luther.
The
That is-
Luther Vandross.
I'm like watching that going. And
It's like,
what I was
how
thinking,
do you-
not
how do
my
you-
stomach, I was thinking of my ass when I was watching that.
Now tomorrow I'm making a Thanksgiving dinner. Tomorrow,
Why is that?
it's a boneless turkey breast roast. So I'm gonna herb it, mashed potatoes, gravy, cranberry sauce, and I'm making green bean
Herb it?
casserole. Herb it,
Yeah.
herb it, herb it.
We've decided this year we're going to have chicken on Thanksgiving because chicken is actually more flavorful to us. A big oven roaster. We're going
Is
to
it?
do
Okay.
that.
Oh,
Turkey
Less
is
gamey. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So
I
we're gonna do chicken.
love turkey. I roasted a chicken. I roasted a 6-pound chicken last week.
Nice.
You and I ate the whole thing. We ate 3 pounds of chicken up here with bones, but that was good.
I got right now downstairs. They're roasting a chicken. I can smell it.
Oh, they're
So
okay.
That's what I'm going to have for dinner.
Hello, Clarice. Hard fuck
What-
me.
Well, guys, I think it's time. What do you think, Mark?
I think it's time to go.
You think it's
Yeah.
time to say farewell?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
time to go, and we'd like to thank our sponsors, Mile 21, Absinthe,
Fair-
and Black Sabbath for
Farewell.
Go absent.
Why
Hey.
you see a sign behind me, mile 21.
Hey,
Farewell.
thanks for watching. Anyone who's watching, we really appreciate it. You're part of
yeah,
our group
and,
tonight, part of our family.
And tribute to Buddy the dog
yeah.
Yes.
as well.
Okay.
This is our therapy too.
Yep.
See you. Yep.
Bye-bye.